It's time to stand with Israel. Consider the lifelong impact of joining nationally syndicated media hosts Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher, along with AM 560 The Answer, on the Stand with Israel tour, this December 2nd through 11th. More than a vacation, this journey will guide you through centuries of faith and culture as you visit iconic places right out of Scripture. Along the way, your host will broadcast on-site while you watch and participate. Together with like-minded travelers, you'll see over 40 iconic sites during the 10-day tour, where you can pray at the Western Wall in Old City, Jerusalem, float in the Dead Sea, and take a boat out onto the waters of the Sea of Galilee. Have you ever wanted to walk inside the Garden Tomb? Register today for the Stand with Israel tour this December 2nd through 11th. Just visit 560theanswer.com, keyword Israel. That's 560theanswer.com, keyword Israel.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
A new plan to stop a surge of migrants. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Tariffs on Mexico.
These are not tariffs as part of a trade dispute. These are tariffs as part of an immigration problem.
Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney says it'll be 5% starting June 10th, and if Mexico doesn't do enough to stop the flow of migrants coming here illegally, it'll go to 10% July 1st.
So this comes as Border Patrol announced a group of over 1,000 Central American migrants who are apprehended in the El Paso sector. They say it's the single biggest apprehension in U.S. history. The White House says Mexico must step up and help solve the problem. We welcome people to come to the United States illegally, but we cannot allow our laws to be broken and our borders to be violated.
Some of the president's fellow Republicans aren't sure about this approach. Democrats don't like it.
Democrats on the House Homeland Security Committee made it a little simpler. This is asinine, they wrote.
That's Fox's Leland Vittert. Will Missouri's only abortion clinic close? Its license expires today in St. Louis, though a judge is considering restraining orders to allow the clinic to stay open.
The state is just continuing to move their requests and demands in an arbitrary and capricious way in order to not allow safe and legal abortion in the state.
Planned Parenthood advocates Director Mevi Mead. The state health department says there have been violations at the clinic, leading to worries about patient safety. It comes after Missouri has passed a law banning most abortions at 8 weeks of pregnancy. Many areas of the South underwater.
It's hard to imagine the magnitude of the flooding. It is difficult to comprehend.
Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, as the Arkansas River flows over well above flood stage at record levels. There are also areas flooded in Oklahoma. An unusual TIE at the National Spelling Bee. They ran out of words at the Scripps Spelling Bee, so 8 spellers will share the trophy. This is Fox News.
In Chicago, 65 degrees. Skies are clear at the moment. 5:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A former top aide to drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman is getting 15 years in prison after pleading guilty to drug trafficking charges. The lawyer for Vicente Zambada says his client is satisfied with the sentence in Chicago federal court.
The client accepts full responsibility for his actions. He was content with the sentence. He understands he's made some mistakes in life, and he looks forward to getting the opportunity to turn his life around and be with his family.
Zambada played a key role in trafficking large amounts of cocaine and heroin into the U.S. and onto the streets of Chicago for Guzman. He received a lesser sentence based on his cooperation with federal prosecutors. His testimony helped convict the infamous El Chapo, who was the leader of the Sinaloa cartel. Embattled Chicago Alderman Ed Burke is in more legal hot water this morning after being indicted by a federal grand jury on racketeering, bribery, and attempted extortion charges. An indictment filed yesterday accuses the city's longest-serving city council member of abusing his power, extorting private legal work from companies and individuals doing business with the city. 2 schemes outlined in the indictment involve the Old Main Chicago Post Office and the Field Museum. Meantime, Chicago Board of Ethics wants to make changes to strengthen the city's ethics laws. The board proposing dozens of recommendations yesterday to Mayor Lightfoot and the city council. In the wake of the new Burke indictments, Mayor Lightfoot is weighing in and is calling for Alderman Ed Burke to resign. R. Kelly is facing a new series of sex crime charges. Cook County prosecutors brought 11 new felony counts against the embattled R&B singer yesterday, including aggravated criminal sexual assault. The charge involves one of the 4 victims, whom prosecutors claim Kelly sexually abused years ago. The woman says she began having sex with Kelly at age 16, 1 year after meeting him during his 2008 trial. A Lake Zurich woman is seriously hurt and remains hospitalized this morning after being struck by a car while running from Lake County Sheriff's deputies in Fremont Township. Authorities say deputies were called to Fairfield Road Wednesday night on a report of an intoxicated person. Deputies found an abandoned car and the woman hiding inside a tree line nearby. As deputies began talking with her, she bolted, running onto Fairfield Road, and was struck. The woman remains hospitalized again in critical condition. Newly released documents in the Jussie Smollett case showed 2 brothers told police the actor staged his own attack. Reporter Brian Shook is looking at the 300-page document dump.
Abel and Ola Osendero were questioned by Chicago police on February 13th and confessed that Smollett planned the alleged assault. That was just 1 day before Smollett appeared on Good Morning America to express his outrage at the attackers and those who questioned his story. Smollett was eventually indicted on charges for faking the attack. However, the charges were dropped when Smollett reached a deal with prosecutors.
Reporter Brian Shook. An amendment proposing a graduated income tax and the rates for that tax is now officially headed to voters. The Illinois House passed the income tax rates yesterday. State Senate had previously passed that measure. It's now up to you and me. Voters will weigh in on the referendum in the November 2020 election. Mayor Lightfoot is blocking a proposed expanded restaurant tax to benefit McCormick Place. A bill passed by the Illinois Senate would have expanded the area where Chicago diners in Lakeview are charged a 1% tax to fund construction at the massive convention center on the near south side over 8 miles away. Illinois House Executive Committee had been scheduled to consider the measure last night, but it was pulled when Lightfoot voiced her opposition. About 200 National Guard troops are being deployed as flood levels continue to rise over much of the state. The governor says Guard members will strengthen levees and build protective barriers. Especially worrisome are the increasing flood levels in counties around the Mississippi River. Jury selection in the Brent Christensen trial is set to begin on Monday. Christensen is charged in the kidnapping and death of a visiting Chinese scholar to the University of Illinois, Yingying Zhang. In June of 2017, he has pleaded not guilty. Her body has never been found. A student from Elmhurst has been accepted to 3 U.S. military academies. Ryan Kennelly submitted his applications to West Point, the Air Force, and Naval academies. Ultimately, he's decided to join his older brother, Jimmy, at the Naval Academy.
Being a part of something bigger than yourself, which is something that we don't really get a lot here. And it's something that I think really needs to be cherished.
Kennelly went above and beyond the exceptional requirements to be considered for nomination to the academies by being president of the National Honor Society, a 3-sport captain in lacrosse, wrestling, and football. UIC, Illinois State, and Illinois opened the NCAA baseball tournament today. The Redbirds clashing with the second-seeded Indiana Hoosiers. In the same regional, UIC will clash with number 1 seed Louisville. Illinois earned a 2 seed in the Oxford, Mississippi regional. They'll take on the 3 seed Clemson. Winners in the double elimination round move on to the super regionals. Yonder Alonso and Jose Abreu with 2-run home runs. White Sox 10-4 winners over the Indians at Guaranteed Rate Field.
I know eventually it will turn, so just the last couple of days has been on a positive note, even though that, I haven't had so many hits or whatever, but fit the ball well, I've had good at-bats, and, I think it's going to turn. That's definitely going to turn.
Yonder Alonso on his 2-run home run last night. Dylan Covey and Cleveland's Trevor Bauer tonight. Cubs are in St. Louis. Wolves visiting the Charlotte Checkers for Game 1 of the AHL Calder Cup Finals tomorrow. The news service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app. Now, Credit Karma. Here's to progress. 5:09, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder knows why Mueller doesn't want to testify publicly.
Here's the deal. Mueller feels he's already testified. He wrote a 400-plus page report on the investigation. Everything's in there. Interviewed all those witnesses, took all those depositions, had all those investigators, spent $25-30 million. Why do I need to come and testify again? What's the point?
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Sarah Wallace, General Manager at Magnolia Bakery.
Every cake has the backstory of who you're giving this cake to. It's happy birthday, Jessica, or happy sweet 16, Amy, and wanting Amy to have the best sweet 16 that she could ever have. I'm working for a sweeter world, one treat at a time.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Hi, my name's Christina Stumble, and I own Farm Girl Flowers in San Francisco. With my Spark Cash Card from Capital One, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all my business purchases. Last year, I redeemed $115,000 in cash back. Yeah, $115,000. And that doubled our digital marketing budget for the summer. Thanks to my Spark Card, we had our best summer yet. Imagine what the Spark Card from Capital One could do for your business. What's in your wallet?
Real Capital One customers pay for real stories. Credit approval required.
When the world is watching and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
Hey guys, see how you can get an unlimited plan with one of the newest phones included for one low price. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1 to learn how you can switch to a Sprint Unlimited plan today.
5:12. And a check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Well, on this Friday morning in Orland Park, Southwest Highway is still closed. 135th and 143rd to the flooding. Downtown Chicago, the Michigan Avenue Bridge is set to reopen after an overnight closure, but one right lane remains closed northbound till 3 this afternoon, so expect heavy congestion on northbound Michigan Avenue south of the Chicago River as the day wears along. Kennedy, looking good right now. The express lane should be opening soon on the inbound side. We're not seeing delays. The Eisenhower, Stevenson are looking good. Same goes for the Rhine. A lot of overnight work clearing. I-57, Bishop Ford, fine for now. We'll have race fans blocking Joliet this weekend for drag race. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
A couple of foggy spots around this morning, then partly sunny and warm today, high 84. Clouds and a shower or thunderstorm late tonight, low 63. Shower and a heavy thunderstorm in the area tomorrow could bring some downpours and damaging wind, high 72. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
65 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So what's the prognosis on your wing there?
My right wrist is broken. And Dr. Fernandez, because he's a big fan of the show, listens every morning. He's very talented. He's out of Rush. He does the Bulls and the Bears players because, I only go with the best.
Sure.
Because I'm a professional coach.
Yeah, right. World-class athlete.
Yeah, exactly. Here's where the fracture is. We brought a copy of the x-ray for you.
This is a piece of paper with a hand outline and an X written on it.
Where the X is where the fracture took place. See, Peyton hit the ball so hard that it bent my hand all the way back and broke my wrist.
Well, please use the proper medical taxonomy. Non-displaced distal radius fracture.
Oh.
Broken wrist. Please.
Okay, it's not a clean breakthrough, but it's a fracture. So the ligament tore some of the bone off. Hence, and also I got to start taking vitamin D. I'm getting old.
Did you ask
Did somebody say osteoporosis?
Did you ask him if you can get one of those Jamie Lannister iron hands?
I did.
That'd be so awesome.
He laughed because he watched Game of Thrones and he knew that I didn't watch it because he listens to the show.
I want one of those.
You want one of those?
Yeah.
They don't have one in the office.
I wonder if they'll start
surgically
offering
implant it?
Game of Thrones cosmetic surgery so that you can look like your favorite Game of Thrones character.
Probably.
Lop off my left hand and make it an iron hand.
You know what? Why don't I can get you an appointment with him? I've got a cell phone number. You could ask him.
I'll tell you, a little bit stronger left hand would probably help my golf game too.
Oh, that's right. Keep your wrist straight, right?
Well, yeah.
Because you don't want to break your wrist. You want to keep it all as one
unit.
unit.
Get a little right. I get a little flippy with the wrist sometimes.
So, but if you can lock it in. So I don't.
Certainly help my short game.
I can't golf. Summer's over. Summer's over before it began. But we do have a Jacobson golfing in the outing. And that would be my dad.
Oh, good. So you have a Jacobson
who's
a good player. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. He played golf at Purdue, and he golfs every day of his life. Come rain, come shine, come snow, he's out there.
That's the way to live. Did you come up with the exciting cover story, though, for the broken wrist? A volleyball injury, not exciting. Being out on Lori Lightfoot's security detail, and you were fighting crime, and you interdicted some sort of gang fight. That's an exciting story.
Okay.
So think about that. Speaking of Lightfoot, she was in a bit of a rhetorical fight with Ed Burke this week, and it's just all the rage down at City Hall and even in the pages of the Chicago Tribune, including our friend John Cass's column about it. The exchange that Lightfoot had with Burke.
Yeah, she was. She let him know that she's the boss, Dan.
Do you have an objection, or do you want to make a comment?
I do, and I'll be brief about what the objection is.
Is your general concern that the rules have a gender designation and not his or her? Is that the gist of it?
That's it.
Is there any other thing that you want to call to the chair's attention?
No.
All right, so, sir, we'll take your issue under advisement, and we're going to move forward.
Ooh, she shut him down. He's used to being the big tuna, if you know what I mean, at city council meetings.
No, I don't know what you mean. He's the big Tony Accardo at city council meetings. Yeah. So here's the thing. You know what they're arguing about? Like, who is more PC on gender? Who's more gender fluid, Lori Lightfoot or Ed Burke? He's Ed Burke.
Old men don't want to have or need to have that conversation with anybody.
Ed Burke was offended that the rules Lightfoot offered refer to aldermen as he and were not gender neutral. Ed Burke was offended, not the cultural Marxist who's the mayor.
Wow.
That's what that was about.
Is he trying to relate to his young constituents in his ward?
This is how desperate these people are to hang on to power. Ed Burke, of course, who was indicted on 14 counts of racketeering, extortion, attempted bribery. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about gender pronouns.
Big Tuna was in part of that indictment. He said, we're the big tunas here when he's talking to Danny Solis. But anyway, let's talk. What's really important is the pronouns.
His indictment, we don't want to talk about that. He is trying to get to the left of Lori Lightfoot on gender identity politics. Ed Burke.
I'm more progressive than you. No, you're not.
It's fascinating.
Oh, my God.
Fascinating. Lightfoot went on, as recounted in Cass's column as well,
to point out that Ed Burke's been there for 50 years.
Yeah, well, it's something we all know.
Mm-hmm. And
she's calling for him to resign. Calling on him to resign.
well, right per the indictment, but this back and forth over the gender pronoun thing continued. You're aware, under terms of laws provided in the municipal code, the gender, whether it is designated as his or her, applies with equal force. If you're making an objection, please make it so we can move forward. Then she invited him to sit down and said, we're going to move forward. So, it's fun, okay? And good for Lori Lightfoot for slapping Ed Burke around rhetorically. I enjoy it as much as anybody else, other than Ed Burke. But if I could just encourage our friend John Cass and others to contain their enthusiasm a bit. I know we're looking for any rays of sunshine in the city, but the tough talk business, I mean, it was a fun moment. Yeah. It's a fun moment at City Council. Ed Burke is, basically down for the count. He's done. He's over.
He should just resign today.
I don't care if he resigns or not. He's over. His 50-year
But did you
reign.
read that affidavit? I mean,
his
it's like a
50-year
Hollywood
reign
script.
is over.
Yeah.
And frankly, it was largely over, or certainly was declining to the end during Tiny Dancer's reign. And I remember how Tiny Dancer started out his first term, with a lot of tough talk. Going to take Ed Burke's security detail away, ultimately reaching a compromise to take like a third of it away.
Yeah, 3 guys, and he had 7.
What a joke. A lot of tough talk from the new sheriff in town, Tiny Dancer, when he was installed in 2011. And how'd that go? So we're getting some tough talk from Lori Lightfoot now, Lori the Lightfoot. And she had a great.
I think it's awesome. She had a great moment.
She had a great moment with
I'm
Ed Burke.
not taking that away from her.
And what else you got?
I like that she's calling on him to resign. I think that's good.
Boy, the standards.
She's got a lot of work to do, and it's only been, 2 weeks?
The standards. She's calling on somebody who is facing a 14-count indictment to resign. Wow. I'm so impressed. That is the courage.
She doesn't want people to use their political office for monetary gains.
Yeah, I've heard the rap. I mean, I've heard it from her. I've heard it from Tiny Dancer. I've heard it from every politician who has been imprisoned prior to their indictment and imprisonment. I've heard it from every governor dating back the last half century, certainly the duration of my life. And what do we got? We got a kleptocracy. So enjoy the moment. Enjoy the Burke indictment. Turn the page. The Burke era on City Council is over. Hooray. And then ask the question, very simply, what else do you got for all of the problems that exist in real time? Slapping Ed Burke's pathetic lurch into gender identity politics to try and, I don't know, salvage some sort of standing in the city council, salvage some sort of relevance. Nice moment. Doesn't fund a pension, doesn't make any neighborhood safer, doesn't educate a kid, doesn't attract a business, doesn't create a job. What else do you have on policy? Is that a question anybody's interested in answering?
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And now get your first month's supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/Chris. Hims connects you with real doctors online who can prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. So easy. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to 4hims.com/Chris. That's 4hims.com/Chris.
Golf, we're playing it Monday, June 24th, and you can join us for our 2 p.m. shotgun start. It's a shuffle format. And, did I say scramble? Shuffleboard. Shuffleboard's later. That's what happens when you're on pain pills. And we have some openings. You don't have to be a business owner to join us on June 24th at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. Enjoy a full buffet lunch and dinner when you join us, along with a round of golf in between. So pick up the phone and call now to reserve your foursome, 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Anyone can join us for a great day of golf. And if you're a business owner or marketing manager, then we've got our business benefactor program available. You purchase a foursome for $1,196, and as a way of saying thank you, we'll give you 25 one-minute commercials to promote your business. That will air right here on AM 560. It's a $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196. And don't forget, a portion of the proceeds will benefit the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. And what that does is they give educational and assistance and families assistance, financial assistance for fallen first responders. It's a win-win, so call today. Reserve your foursome, 312-363-6680, or go to 560theanswer.com/golf.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. Did you know of the top 10 reasons an employee stays at a company for more than 2 years? The 7th reason is the pay or the salary. The first 6 reasons have nothing to do with money. Things like they feel part of a team, they know they belong, their voice is heard, they're respected. Also, employees go through 5 phases within a couple days to 6 months of any new position. Excitement, education, reality, doubt, then clarity. Did you know it's a manager's job to walk them to clarity as fast as possible? If you need to know these fundamental principles, fundamental? Did I just say that? I'm going to leave that in. If you need to know these fundamental principles, I can't say this. This is awesome. This is like a blooper roll. Hey, you know what? If you need tips and techniques like this to grow your business today, you got to check out door number 1 of Income Store. If you just need somebody to literally hold your hand and get you to the finish line, check out door number 2 of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Hey, our friend Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, you see him on TV, big Trump supporter. Well, he's authorized us to make the best offer ever on radio or television. For a limited time only, you can get a 2-pack of premium MyPillows for only $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow. Again, it's the lowest price ever offered in the history of MyPillow. So if you procrastinated, get off your duff and get on the computer and go to mypillow.com, promo code Amy, to get the best offer ever. And don't forget, they still have 30% off those amazing pet beds. Bunky just loves it. And I love it too, because when it gets dirty, and you know it gets dirty, you can just throw it in the washer and the dryer. There's mattress toppers that are great, and my favorite are the Giza cotton sheets. Egyptian cotton, folks. So act now to get this brand new, absolutely lowest price ever offered of 2 premium MyPillows for only $69.98 and 30% off everything else. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. And tell them Amy sent you.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
AM 560, The
Answer. Dan and Amy talking about Lori the Lightfoot, her rebuke of Ed Burke's pathetic lurch into gender identity politics. Fun moment, and she gets her honeymoon like any other mayor, but chop chop.
It's just very odd to see an elderly man, because he is an elderly man, up there complaining about pronoun usage and gender identity.
It's even more entertaining to watch an effete mobster, which is what Ed Burke really is.
Yeah.
Complaining about he.
And that affidavit that was released yesterday, the 59-page, it looked like a Hollywood script. At one part, he's asking Danny Solis, hey, did we land the big tuna? Oh, my God.
Jim in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, the politicians should all be fitted with 2 hands of Jamie Lannister, so when they go to reach into my pocket for my money, they can't get it.
There you go.
But this saga of Chicago, it's so funny. people they forget that Burke was right in at the beginning of Daley's 50 years of dynasty corruption, and he's not dead yet. Just stay tuned is all I can say.
He's dead. Thanks for the call, Jim. Politically, he's dead. He's gone.
He's gone. No more.
And there's nothing you can do about it, to borrow from a Goodfellas. This is a fun little addition.
Sorry, I'm adjusting my...
that sounded, I don't know where the sound of Velcro was coming from.
That's like kind of nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
So.
Sounds like something, it's like skin's being peeled off.
Wow.
Did you see this? Amid all the other taxes and fee increases that are being proposed by Governor Jellybelly, and all supported by all his handmaidens here in the suburbs and, of course, the city, parking tax increase.
Yeah.
It's I think we heard it here. I think it's been running on our station.
Oh, it sure has been.
If you haven't heard it, here it is.
Do you drive to work in Chicago or anywhere else in Cook County? Do you pay to park your car? Watch out for a nasty surprise. Do you drive to shop, dine out, or see a play? Do you drive to the airport? Watch out for the same nasty surprise. The new administration has proposed the first and only state parking tax in America. If this is voted into law, you will pay up to 40% in taxes just to park in Chicago and suburban Cook County. Up to 40%. Chicago parking taxes are already higher than New York, Washington, and LA. 3 times higher than Dallas or Houston. Do you want to pay more than ever to work or shop, go out to dinner, see a show, or visit a museum? Every parking lot, garage, and even airport parking will cost more. Business owners, your employees, and your customers will suffer. That means your business will suffer. Call your state representative and state senator. Tell them to vote no. They're ready to vote. So call them now or visit noparkingtaxhike.com for more information. That's noparkingtaxhike.com. Paid for by Teamsters Local 727 and the Parking Industry Labor Management Committee.
A couple interesting things there. First, as I want to say, you can't put a price on good government.
No, you can't.
So a little bit of suffering for the great government that we get.
Patriotic and take it.
Exactly.
Take it up the woohoo. Let's go.
Teamsters Local 727. Huh. Must be some
that's
Teamsters jobs at stake here. Very interesting. That may be the only thing that can kill a tax or fee increase in Illinois is Teamsters opposition. So you got that going for you, which is nice. Again, the proposed state tax, just to get to the details, 6% for daily and hourly parking, 9% for monthly. The 40% increase that's referenced in the commercial includes all the local taxes as well.
Oh, okay. So is it a tax on a tax? Do you think we kind of at the gas pump that nobody knows about, we're paying taxes on taxes?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
That's what it is. So this is just another thing that you can look forward to underwrite the great government you're getting in Chicago, Cook County, the state of Illinois. Another innovative policy of Governor Jellybelly and his friends, the parking tax. Maybe, I know the progressive tax, graduated state income tax, that's not enough. That doesn't excite anybody. Property taxes, that doesn't excite anybody.
Maybe this will, just like the sugar tax
Exactly.
really woke up some women in Chicago. This might be it.
And maybe it's the tax you least expect. Maybe the parking tax will do it.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Attorney General Barr speaketh in response to Mueller's presser at 5:38.
And later, a political odd couple are teaming up. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
60 degrees. Following announced tariffs on Mexican imports, Mexico's president sending his top diplomat to negotiate in Washington, D.C. The Trump administration's sanctions are in response to illegal immigration from Mexico. Senator Lindsey Graham last night supported the president's latest move, imposing tariffs to try and stop illegal immigration. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders says he's supportive of an impeachment inquiry into President Trump.
This president is not above the law. No president is above the law.
Sanders at a campaign rally in suburban Las Vegas last night. President Trump making federal aid available to Arkansas after signing an emergency declaration. FEMA can now help coordinate all disaster and flooding relief there. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson.
It's hard to imagine the magnitude of the flooding. It is difficult to comprehend. When you see it from the air, the breadth of the flooding.
Floodwaters also continue to rise on the Mississippi River this morning. President Trump had high praise for this year's graduating class from the Air Force Academy.
You could have chosen any school, any career you wanted, but you chose a harder path and a higher calling to protect and defend the United States of America.
We're watching with interest this morning as Missourians will find out if their only clinic that still performs abortions will be able to continue to do so. A judge is expected to issue a ruling on a request that a Planned Parenthood clinic that provides abortion have its license renewed. The state is claiming the clinic has violated numerous state laws. Embattled Chicago Alderman Ed Burke in more legal hot water after being indicted by a federal grand jury on racketeering, bribery, and attempted extortion charges. A Lake Zurich woman seriously hurt after she was struck by a car while running from Lake County Sheriff's deputies in Fremont Township. Newly released documents in the Jesse Smollett case show those two brothers told police the actor staged his own attack. Major League Baseball attendance is down another 1.4%. Major League Baseball's overall average of 26,000 through Wednesday is about 1.5% below the 27,000 through the similar point last year. 19 of the 30 teams have seen their average attendance fall from a similar point last year. But there have been a few teams that have seen large rises in attendance. Philadelphia, it's understandable. Bryce Harper's there, 10,000. Oakland, figure that one out. San Diego and your Chicago White Sox have seen a dramatic increase in average attendance. And the White Sox played to the crowd last night, winning 10-4 at Guaranteed Rate Field. Cubs are in St. Louis tonight to open a 3-game set with the Cardinals. 5:35, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I think the election next year is going to be damn close.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Let me tell you something right now. If you think Donald Trump is going to run away with this, you're crazy. If you want Trump to win, you better pay attention to what these Democrats are doing this next year and a half. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what I think.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss. Because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you, for free, how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert. Ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
5:38 and a check on that morning ride to work in the AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Tri-State Tollway southbound near the Hinsdale Oasis. A crash has moved to the right shoulder. There's a couple of semis involved there, so prepare to slow down approaching the scene. inbound Stevenson. The exit to Damon is closed due to a crash. Expect traffic heavy in that area. And there's a wreck closing the ramp from northbound I-55 Damon. Edens is okay. The Kennedy looks good. Express lanes have opened inbound. The Eisenhower is at the moment still delay-free. Got a ride, a little congested approaching downtown. Same goes for the Bishop Ford Freeway approaching the split. Work on outbound I-57, Crawford to 167th in the right lane. No problems to report right now in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. And a warm afternoon shaping up. AC will likely kick in with a high of 84. A thunderstorm in spots overnight, lows 63. Currently 60 degrees. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Bill Barr is the man, not Bob Mueller. And the Attorney General sat down with CBS this morning to respond to the Mueller press conference to announce that the report in written form should speak for itself. Yeah. A lot of curious things about what Mr. Mueller had to say. Here's what Attorney General Barr said.
We saw the special counsel yesterday make that statement. He analyzed 11 instances where there were possible obstruction and then said that he really couldn't make a decision. Do you agree with that interpretation?
I personally felt he could have reached a decision.
In your view, he could have reached a conclusion.
Right, he could have reached a conclusion. The opinion says you cannot indict a president while he's in office, but he could have reached a decision as to whether it was criminal activity. But he had his reasons for not doing it, which he explained, and I'm not going to, argue about those reasons. But when he didn't make a decision, the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, and I felt it was necessary for us as the heads of the department to reach that decision.
Well, I mean, he seemed to suggest yesterday that there was another venue for this, and that was Congress.
Well, I'm not sure what he was suggesting, but the Department of Justice doesn't use our powers of investigating crimes as an adjunct to Congress.
Yeah, there's another venue for this, Congress. Well, sure. We understand. This is the media. I so enjoy this. Yes, we understand that the power to impeach resides in Congress. And the power to investigate and make a determination as to whether a crime has been committed is found in the Department of Justice. And with Bob Mueller being an employee of the Department of Justice, it was to be found with Bob Mueller. And he punted. And he didn't have to. And what he said yesterday, as we distilled it yesterday, was in contradiction with the facts. Cherry-picking DOJ protocols he used to provide cover for the decision he didn't make. Jonathan Turley, writing in The Hill, Jonathan Turley, George Washington University law professor. The problem is that Mueller was uttering absolute nonsense about his inability to reach a conclusion. He likewise did not offer a principled basis for refusing to answer any questions. And Turley points out, compare this to Barr. Attorney General Barr testified for hours on his role, answered dozens of questions. He was promptly dismissed as evasive and even perjurious. Mueller declared he would tolerate no questions and declined to address any of the criticism of his work with very little objection from the media. Moses has spoken. Disperse. That's a really good point, Turley. So Barr holds himself accountable to Congress. Ask your questions. The imperious Mueller says, I shall answer no questions, and
then
walks
away,
into the sunset.
Drops the mic. I'm resigning right now. This case is closed. This is what I think. I'm not speaking further on it. Goodbye.
So let me ask you this question. should Republicans press Mueller to testify before Congress? We talked yesterday about Mueller testifying as part of the Democrats' impeachment strategy. And so these sources saying, man, Nadler's got to find a way to get Mueller to appear before his House Judiciary Committee. Well, given what Mueller had to say, the quality of it, the evidence to support it, the contradictory nature of it, should Republicans press for a Mueller moment on the Hill? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Because as Turley points out, one could understand why he would not be eager to answer questions about such an absurd interpretation when his cited sources directly contradict him. This on the old issue of we were never going to make a determination because we can't indict a sitting president. This is Mueller's defense, right? Turley continues, I testified on these flawed memos from the Office of Legal Counsel during the Clinton impeachment. Like many other academics, I view the policy as unsupported by either the Constitution or the Convention debates, but that does not matter because the memos have simply nothing to do with a special counsel finding criminal conduct by a president. The memos focus entirely on the indictment and prosecution of a sitting president. They do not conclude that being a defendant in a criminal case would thus prevent any president from performing his duties, but they do challenge the need to investigate a sitting president. History shows presidents routinely accused of criminal conduct, including in impeachment proceedings. Indeed, Clinton was investigated and found to have committed crimes by an independent counsel. The Justice Department memos, these are the memos on which Mueller are relying, did not find that the investigation or such findings were improper. When the Independent Counsel Act subsequently expired, Congress was assured that the same investigatory function would be performed by any special counsels. The memos only addressed when a president can be indicted and said that prosecution must wait until he leaves office since he could not function while in the docket of a criminal court or a federal prison. The point is, if Mueller wanted to communicate that he believed the president had broken the law, he could have done so in his report, and he didn't.
And the CBS reporter asked William Barr about that. Can a sitting president be charged with a crime?
I personally felt he could have reached a decision.
In your view, he could have reached a conclusion.
Right, he could have reached a conclusion. The opinion says you cannot indict a president while he's in office, but he could have reached a decision as to whether it was criminal activity, but he had his reasons for not doing it.
Right, so case closed. Trump wins, right?
Well, if the case is not, it's a good Mitch McConnell impersonation that you've just done. But
well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I lost my chin while telling you that.
Cocaine Mitch and the China People was the name of your high school band. Howard Jones tribute band, if I recall.
Exactly.
But of course it's not over. The Democrats probably had the votes, were a vote to be taken today, authorized by Nancy Pelosi today, to move to a formal impeachment inquiry, but she's not ready to do that.
No, she's in California.
Democrats seem to want Mueller to testify. I ask again, should Republicans?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Ed in Oak Brook.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think this was about Trump. Mueller's investigation wasn't about Trump. I think it was about destroying the people around Trump. What did they interview? Like 500 people? Each one of those people had to get a high-end lawyer. Think of your own campaign, Dan. How many people did you have around you, let's say 20, 30, that were very close? And now let's say that they were investigated. You have to feel bad about that because you're answering questions that could trap you in anything. So I think it was more to hurt Trump supporters than it was to actually get Trump because they knew they had nothing on him. Have a nice day.
Thanks for the call, Ed. I don't know. I think it's always about headhunting with prosecutors. So it's always getting to the top of the org chart. And as Trump and others have said, serving as the insurance policy to overturn an election result they didn't like.
Trump was hysterical yesterday. Did you hear him about possible Russian interference?
Russia did not help me get elected. You know who got me elected? I got me elected. Russia didn't help me at all.
See, that's why I love him. I'm falling in love with him more and more when he talks like that. He tough talk. It's funny. It's true.
Yeah.
Russia didn't help me. Yeah, they might have, interfered with Hillary, which they did, and Mueller mentioned that, but it still didn't matter. She still didn't win the election because people didn't want her to be president. It's real simple.
Trump and the Deplorables.
Yeah.
Which is the name of my high school band.
That's right. What was the cover band for?
Susie and the Banshees.
Wow, you're digging deep, dude.
Thank you. Anthony in Plainfield.
Thanks for taking my call. I would hope the Republicans can take an offensive position for a change instead of being on their heels all the time. The fact that Mueller does not want to come before Congress, I would push that to high heaven. Mueller's got something that he can trip over, or he's got something that certainly would help the Republicans and help Trump in this investigation mess.
So you think Republicans should push to have, Bob,
not so fast.
We
Turn
do
around.
have some
We're
questions. Yeah. Lindsey Graham wants to talk to you. You should.
Yeah, you pulled everybody else into this mess, Mr. Bob. So how about answering some of our questions and those powder puffs that you've answered in the past?
Yeah, a little payback time.
All right.
Huh?
Thanks for calling. Well, it's not even payback. It's about exposing the quality of what Mueller is saying. There's Barr's not going to say it, but the implication of Mueller's press conference was clear. Trump should be impeached. Okay, Bob, if you're going to dance around it, well, then sit in that chair, and we've got some questions about the basis for that insinuation, as well as the basis for the no decision on Volume 2, the obstruction. And we're going to go through chapter and verse on these DOJ memos that you relied upon to reach the conclusion that you articulated. And we're just going to see how you hold up under scrutiny. Who prosecutes the prosecutors?
Right. And real quickly, it's an ancillary issue, but I found this fascinating about the CBS report or interview with William Barr talking about investigating the investigators.
You don't think that they've committed treason?
Not as a legal matter, right?
But you have concerns about how they conducted the investigation?
Yes, but, sometimes people can convince themselves that what they're doing is in the higher interest, the better good. They don't realize that what they're doing is really antithetical to the democratic system we have.
Mm-hmm. Nothing veiled about that. Jim in Huntley.
Yeah, I kind of had to chuckle about that soundbite of Trump saying, who got me elected? I did. I got myself elected.
Mm-hmm.
He probably could have gotten more mileage had he said Hillary got me elected because of that comment she made about basket of deplorables. I think that was the turning point.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the call, Jim. Hillary definitely helped. There's no question about that.
Horrible candidate. Oh.
John in Villa Park.
Yeah, the other guy really kind of stole my thunder. But, yeah, get him up there. Let him perjure himself. The tables have turned. And I'd like to know, have any other previous administrations ever had to deal with members of the DOJ or FBI going out in public and trying to get their story out there? Isn't that really suspicious? Comey, McCabe, and Rosenstein? Seriously?
Yeah, thanks for the call, John. That we talked about this yesterday, the extrajudicial statements made by Bob Mueller, as were made by Jim Comey. That's against DOJ protocol.
Yep.
What about that DOJ protocol, Bob? Jim Comey started out, he's Mr. Smith, who went to Washington. And then as his decisions were made, as he made decisions and had to explain them, and as he started to move all over the place in terms of what he was communicating to be true, and as he started to assert things that didn't have much evidentiary basis, opinion about Jim Comey turned. There's a great presumption of integrity afforded to prosecutors, FBI directors. Perhaps it's not warranted all the time or anymore, but it's still there. So it's not an easy thing to take these guys down a peg. That's happened to Comey over time. Possibility that it could happen to Mueller. Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Yeah, that point right there, Dan, right on, because
Barr, ahead of when he came out and was talking about, he asked Mueller a few times, it's got nothing to do with the rule where you can't, indict the president and everything. Then when Mueller gets on there on the huge audience and says, "Oh, that was my reason and basis," it was a flat-out lie. He really lied in a huge way to the American people in that, and then to telling Congress, to do it. They ought to get a lot of play out of that, because when he came back and retracted it, in a smaller setting with Barr in the Justice Department, it's not good enough. He needs to come back to the public and own up to his lie and everything, and they ought to make a bigger deal out of it, is my point. They need to make a lot bigger deal. Mueller came out originally like he was this big tough big tough guy and everything. He's a little sissy and a liar and everything. He's running for the hills, really. They need to pin him down.
Thanks for the call, Craig. It's per the Blasey Ford standard of inquiry. Whistle him before Senate Judiciary, Lindsey Graham's committee, and bring in Trey Gowdy as the special questioner.
That would be great.
I don't want
Melissa McCarthy.
Doing
it again.
I don't want her back
From Phoenix.
And she's fine.
I mean, she's fine. It's a prosecutor out of Phoenix. I shouldn't fat shame her. And I'm not. She just looks like Melissa McCarthy, okay?
And a very special guest, you know him, former Congressman Trey Gowdy, coming out, sitting in front of the committee, and having a little 3-hour back and forth with Bob Mueller. How much fun would that be? Not for Mueller.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined, and Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings and energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in better and safer working conditions. Find out how much your commercial business or public sector facility can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call them directly at 708-609-0784 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twinsupplies.net.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 4343 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4343. Enjoy.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. Did you know of the top 10 reasons an employee stays at a company for more than 2 years? The 7th reason is the pay or the salary. The first 6 reasons have nothing to do with money. Things like they feel part of a team, they know they belong, their voice is heard, they're respected. Also, employees go through 5 phases within a couple days to 6 months of any new position. Excitement, education, reality, doubt, then clarity. Did you know it's a manager's job to walk them to clarity as fast as possible? If you need to know these fundamental principles, fundamental? Did I just say that? I'm going to leave that in. If you need to know these fundamental principles, I can't say this. This is awesome. This is like a blooper roll. Hey, you know what? If you need tips and techniques like this to grow your business today, you got to check out door number 1 of Income Store. If you just need somebody to literally hold your hand and get you to the finish line, check out door number 2 of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
He said it would be big league, a dramatic step at the border. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump ready to put tariffs on Mexico that'll keep getting bigger if he says they don't do more to stop the flow of illegal immigration. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Mexico is on deadline. A 5% across-the-board tariff will kick in on June 10th. White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney says it'll go up to 10% on July 1st and then
15% on August 1st, 20% on September 1st, and 25% on October 1st.
Mexico's trade negotiator calls the tariffs disastrous and grave. Not all Republicans are on board with the plan. GOP Senator Chuck Grassley calling it a misuse of presidential tariff authority. Dave?
Rachel, Attorney General Barr is taking issue with the now former special counsel, Robert Mueller, who said the other day if his investigation found President Trump did not commit a crime, he would have said so. And policy didn't allow him to charge the president with obstruction of justice or other crimes. Barr tells CBS News.
The opinion says you cannot indict a president while he's in office, but he could have reached a decision as to whether it was criminal activity.
Barr also said the Justice Department doesn't do investigations for Congress as House Democrats push for impeachment. More areas of Arkansas are underwater, forcing people to flee.
It was amazing how fast we moved this house out, and seeing the whole street and the community, how fast they moved out.
He's in Fort Smith as the Arkansas River rises to record levels, neighborhoods underwater. It's well above flood stage, and there's been bad flooding also in Oklahoma. At the Scripps National Spelling Bee on ESPN.
Odylic. O-D-Y-L-I-C. Odylic.
But Rohan Raja had to share the trophy with 7 other spellers. The organizers ran out of words. Each winner will get the full first place prize, $50,000. This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy, 60 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Health officials this morning confirm a case of the measles in Kane County. County Health Department says a person with that viral infection visited local retailers and restaurants recently, an at-home store, a Best Buy, a Colonial Cafe, a Meijer, and the Northwestern Medicine Regional Group in St. Charles. That person is no longer infectious but may have exposed many others before realizing they were sick. Former top aide to drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman gets 15 years after pleading guilty to drug trafficking charges. His lawyer says his client is satisfied with the sentence.
The client accepts full responsibility for his actions. He was content with the sentence. He understands he's made some mistakes in life, and he looks forward to getting the opportunity to turn his life around and be with his family.
His testimony helped convict the infamous El Chapo, who was leader of the Sinaloa cartel, who unloaded large amounts of cocaine and heroin onto the streets of Chicago. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is calling for Alderman Ed Burke to resign. The embattled alderman is in more legal hot water after being indicted by a federal grand jury on racketeering, bribery, and attempted extortion charges. An amendment proposing a graduated income tax and the rates inside is now officially headed to voters. The Illinois House passed the graduated income tax rates yesterday. Voters will weigh in November of 2020. 20. Chicago sports. White Sox cruise to a 10-4 win over the Indians at Guaranteed Rate Field. Cubs are in St. Louis tonight. NCAA Women's Softball College World Series. Arizona top Washington, UCLA, maybe the best team in the tournament, top Minnesota. Oklahoma State edged Florida, and Oklahoma squeezed out a win over Alabama. 6:04 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America, one life at a time.
I wish they would have me do a commercial. I'm from the New York area, and we don't trust anybody. I certainly didn't trust you guys at first. After all, you're like out of Utah. I was like, what is in Utah? Really? I listened to ESPN half the day, and I heard some little old man saying, I took fruits and veggies, and da-da-da-da. And I was so, when you're in pain, you will try anything. And I said, let me try it, but I need to tell you that I'm jogging now. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that again.
Talk to a Balance of Nature health coach today and see if getting the nutrition from over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables can make a difference in your life. Use discount code CHICAGO to receive free shipping on every order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
We've all read some surprising online reviews, whether scoping out a spot for vacation or trying to find the best happy hour. So why should finding software for your business be any different? With over 850,000 software reviews, make an informed decision with Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best business software. From applicant tracking to workflow software, read reviews in over 700 categories from users just like you. Join the 4 million people that use Capterra each month. Find the right software today with Capterra. That's CAPTERRA.com/radio. Wesley had IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Coming after my house, my car. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
Wesley called Optima Tax Relief.
Oh, they were great people. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-973-7700. 800-973-7700.
Optima Tax Relief.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Krylon Fusion all-in-one spray paint bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection and excellent coverage. No sanding or priming necessary. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors, so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon, today we spray.
It is 6:07. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Tri-State Tollway southbound. Stop-and-go traffic from past Ogden to the Hinsdale Oasis. It's a collision blocking 2 right lanes, 2 semis involved. Northbound, it's heavy from the mile-long bridge to the Hinsdale Oasis. Farther north, Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are okay. The Edens looks good. Kennedy inbound. 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. Down Eisenhower delays start at Manheim. 34 minutes 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Stevenson already 53 minutes 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The ramp to Damon has reopened after a crash. Ryan 25 minutes 95th to downtown. I-57 16 minutes I-80 to the merge. Bishop 422. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Couple of spots of fog this morning, then partly sunny and warm today, high 84. Cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm late tonight, low 63. Shower and a heavy thunderstorm in the area tomorrow could bring some downpours and damaging wind, the high 72. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
62 and clouds at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Well, we have to talk trade again because President Trump is acting in that space. We had the broad outlines of USMCA deal.
Wait, what is that again?
USMCA.
It's the old AFTRA.
Yeah. USMCA, U.S.-Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement.
Okay.
The USMCA.
USMCA.
We're hoping for a vote on that in the House. And saying yesterday that the U.S. would impose increasing tariffs on all Mexican imports beginning June 10th. They would begin, the tariff level would begin at 5%, the tax, 5%, hitting 25% by October 1, unless Mexico takes satisfactory action to halt migrants.
And he's doing this because yesterday, I don't know if you saw the video, but 1,000 illegals crossed over into the United States near El Paso. And that is when President Trump put his foot down. Back to the tariffs, though. The tariff, June 10th, 5%, July 1st, 10%, and then it'd be up to 25% on October 1st, if nothing's done.
So let me understand something. We have a border security and humanitarian crisis. And because Congress, including the Republican-controlled Congress during President Trump's first 2 years, because they failed to act, because they failed to deliver on a core promise, American consumers should be taxed, because that's what a 5%
we would
tariff
pay for
on Mexico means.
And, folks, a lot of stuff comes out of Mexico. Most of our produce, vehicles, you name it, it comes from Mexico because there's a lot of maquiladora plants there. That's, American companies who set up shop in Mexico, make the products, and ship it back to the U.S.
I say again here, not everybody agrees with me. Okay. The only thing, or the main thing, the main threat to Trump's reelection is getting in the way of his own strong economy. And the way that you get in the way of it is by raising taxes, which is what tariffs do, is by minimizing trade, which is what tariffs do. That's how you slow down the economy.
And trade policy and border security are separate issues.
They're not they're everything's inextricably linked, but there's a point there. You can do right. You don't need to use tariffs as a tool to affect border security.
To stop illegals from coming into this country.
Yes, that's right. And here's the thing. Trump's personality, his tweeting, all that is baked in to people's opinions. Even if he shut down his Twitter account today and became the kinder, gentler Trump that some suggest he needs to be or wish he was, it wouldn't change people's opinions about it. His personality and people's judgment about that is baked in. What's not baked in is this question, the answer to this question. I may not always like what he does in terms of his personal conduct, how he speaks about issues, how he talks about other people or to other people. But I'll tell you what, I agree with a lot of the policy decisions he's made. The policy decisions are paying dividends for me, for my family, for this country. So I don't have to like my boss to respect the job he's doing. That's a pretty pragmatic calculus. And guess what? most voters are fairly pragmatic, at least the swing voters that matter. They're pretty pragmatic. And I shouldn't say matter. I'm determinative. You know what I mean.
Right.
And so don't you worry about what we know to be true negatively impacting Trump. Just because Trump says it doesn't make it true, or unsays it doesn't make it untrue. Look, he wants to get to a lower tariff environment. That's what he and Kudlow have said. Well, that by definition means that higher tariffs are bad. That's not the place we want to be. That's what he's saying when he says we need to get to a lower tariff, more free trade environment. We need to do better trade deals in furtherance of free trade like USMCA, according to Trump. And the prospect of going to the mat and all the way up to 2020 with the punitive tariff approach to affecting free trade is you could induce a recession along the way. This was part of the discussion on Cavuto's show yesterday. He had Bankrate senior economic analyst Mark Hamrick on, and this was the concern he raised. He's not predicting recession either. Nobody is hysterical here. But they understand fundamentals and where this could go if you make solely political calculations at the expense of economic ones.
Well, I think you could have stagflation, right? Because the more the tariffs begin to creep into the economy and actually end up causing price increases, then you also have a coinciding slowdown in economic growth. And that would be a real problem for the Federal Reserve because, on the one hand, it needs to combat inflation if it were to be seen. But obviously, it cannot apply monetary policy in the traditional way of trying to basically encourage economic growth by cutting rates. So, I think this is probably raising a little bit of blood pressure among members of the Federal Open Market Committee a little bit.
It's raising a little bit of blood pressure among free marketeers who want to see Trump reelected, too. Like me. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Do you agree with Trump's approach to Mexico using tariffs as the cudgel to get them to be more serious about preventing migrants from moving up through their country to our border? You agree with that policy? And let me ask you a corollary question as well. Because there's some, and they're critical of me, and I get it. You can be critical of me. Fine. Don't disagree with the position. No matter what Trump says or does, it's always right. So the corollary is there anything that Trump has said or done, is there anything presenting itself right now that concerns you about Trump's reelection?
This does.
Well,
this and the tariff fight we have with China. I mean, unlike you guys, I go to the store at least 3 or 4 times a week and buy products and gas up the car and do everything. And prices are going up and up and up and up. And if he does this with Mexico, are you kidding me? It's going to be, he'll lose the election in 2020.
Well, those tax increases certainly cut into the tax relief that was provided by Trump's tax
exactly.
cut.
So what I got back, now I'm giving away again.
And so
to a government program or plan that I don't want to be part of, but I have no choice.
So is there anything on the landscape that troubles you? Anything that concerns you about Trump's reelection? Or are we all going to be super fans and we're going to say that Trump is going to win 72,000 electoral votes to none in 2020, no matter what he does? Is this Ditka versus the entire Green Bay Packers? Is that what we're going to say? Or are we going to recognize there are some real pitfalls that he needs to avoid to be best positioned to win next year, regardless of which Democrat socialist is nominated? It's a simple question. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Listen, Dan, Amy, we love you here in Chicago, and we always want to hear you every day. But if you want to make it to the big time in radio and at your radio station, you're going to have to get on board. Hugh Hewitt is already on board. You know darn well what Hannity and Gorka, the rest of them are going to do. So forget about what you learned in college. You want you to spouse your whole life. hiking and sweeping economics. Get on board with the tariffs for that promotion, pal.
All right, thanks for the call,
I don't
Tom,
wanna
and the
get on
career
board.
advice.
It's a misuse of presidential tariff. I mean, isn't that a possibility that it's a misuse of presidential tariff authority, what he's doing?
Well, it's not. I mean,
I say trade policy and border security are not, they're separate issues.
I wouldn't say misuse. It's a question of whether it's judicious.
Well,
yes.
so we're dangling a carrot in front of the president of Mexico saying, we're going to pay more. There's going to be tariffs if you don't secure your border.
By the way, just to break this down a little bit further, how important is trade? How about state by state? The GDP, the percentage of GDP state by state that owes to trade, exports plus imports in 2018. Louisiana, number one in the country, 42% of the state's GDP is trade related. Kentucky, second, 41%, cars, aerospace. Michigan, that's an important state electorally, 39%. Texas, 35%. Tennessee, 33%. South Carolina, 33%. Indiana, 28%. New Jersey, 26%. Illinois, 26% of Illinois' GDP is trade related. $222 billion of exports and imports in 2018. So again, now that's just, basically the top 10 states, and you're at a quarter of plus of their state GDP. Do you want less of that? Let's just do basics here. What you tax, you get less of. Iron law of economics. Do you want less exporting and importing? Do you want less trade? Do you want lower GDP? Do you want less growth? If you don't want those things, then you don't want Trump to see every geopolitical problem as a nail with tariffs as the hammer. Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Amy, I'd like to know, what do you think specifically has gone up? Because I live in Wisconsin, and food could not be cheaper here. I mean, because of the number of farmers and local stuff from the stores, it is so cheap at the grocery store here. But I'd like to know, specifically what you think has gone up, because I go grocery shopping for my family, too, and I haven't noticed anything going up.
Yeah,
everything has gone up. Everything. From
what?
socks that I buy, I go to the same store and do the same routine 2 times a week for the last 9 years, and my bill has gone up about $72 in the past
Well, also,
8
let me
months.
say something. People also didn't raise their prices for 8 years during Obama, and now wages are going up. Corporations also feel that they can raise their prices now, too, that it's safe. So it's not all because of tariffs. And what do you expect the president to do for Mexico? They could curb their immigration very easily.
Yeah, so could we.
But they,
so could
refuse
so
to
could
do
the U.S. government.
They walked in 1,000 illegals yesterday into El Paso. I mean, outside of El Paso, but still, they just walked in. Why didn't we stop them? Said no, turn around, go back. We didn't do that.
So could the U.S. government. Oh, by the way, Trump $15 billion in price supports for ag goods. He's also expanding the use of ethanol, efforting to. So he's underwriting the trying to underwrite to some extent the damage to ag that tariffs are doing. So that's bad. That's bad policy compounded with more bad policy.
And he's better than that.
Thanks for the call, Candace. And by the way, the sort of what else is he supposed to do? This is his only option. It's not.
Not his only option.
And also, if it were his only option, which it is not, doing nothing is sometimes better than doing what is harmful, isn't it? We had this conversation with Steve Moore with respect to China this week. The interesting thing is that many who say, go with the president on this, let's just stick with China to illustrate the example. Stick with him on this. They don't believe that any agreement with China is worth the paper it's written on anyway. So what is it exactly we're going to exact from China, do you think, that's enforceable? What does winning look like? What do we win when we win? How about that question?
I mean, you really think they're going to stop stealing intellectual property if we lift this tariff?
What do we win when we win? So here's a way out. Now, Steve Moore laughed at this, but he didn't let me finish. Go to the WTO. China's got MFN status. Go to the WTO, have them adjudicate China's alleged, and I believe real, piracy, theft, bad trade practices. Enter judgments against China. Declare victory and roll back these tax increases. Trump should be looking for a way out of this, not a way more deeply into it. Enlisting other or negatively impacting other countries in addition to our own, who we're on the cusp of doing a trade deal with on top of it. Alex in West Dundee.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Maybe this is Trump's way of not getting elected for a second term, because it'll do it. Because, like you said, everyone feels it in the pocketbook. You want to get the country's attention, start having prices go up.
Thanks, Alex. Margot in Burr Ridge.
Wow. Well, you just, there are a lot of things I'd like to answer to that you just said.
Okay.
I called to say that I think there's a long-term or a short-term strategy here. And I think by October, I think Trump will have the Chinese, the Iranians, and the Mexicans kind of under control where he wants them. Then he's got a year to run on a good record. And Amy, as far as your prices going up and things costing more, you live in a sanctuary state. You know, a social worker in Illinois cannot ask a person who comes in, they can't ask them any questions. Do you have money in Iran? Do you have money in Mexico? Can anybody help? No, they just have to give it. They can't ask any questions at all. And that's putting up prices of everything here too. So we're paying a lot for these people, and that is why he's got to control that border, because we're not doing it here. Pritzker's not doing it for us. Madigan's not doing it for us. The Democrats are bringing these people in. It's costing us a fortune to keep all these immigrants here. So,
okay.
that's
thanks for the call, Margo. I mean, that is a fair point, the sanctuary city, sanctuary state, and that's a negative environment, no question. But so that's a bad policy, so we should indulge other bad policies that raise prices. I don't follow that.
We're barking up the wrong tree.
Mike in Union.
Good morning, guys.
Hey.
You know what? The only thing we've been asking Mexico to step up to the plate. I mean, if I was to go into Mexico, I'd be thrown in jail for breaking, being an illegal alien.
I know, but we're not Mexico, and we don't want to be.
No, right. But, I think that's the only thing that's going to be effective is to hit him in the pocketbook. Honestly, I understand your points of bad policy and everything else. And then secondly, you said if there was something I was afraid of Trump for his re-election.
Yeah.
I've noticed lately that everybody's trying to entrap him to make comments like that scumbag Avenatti, who comes out after being indicted for all those charges. He's trying to get the president to make comments about his court cases. There's a constant attack to try to get him to react in a way where they could maybe flip on him and say, "Oh, look at now he's intruding in court cases and this and that and everything else." That's the only thing I'm afraid of. But so far, he's done a decent job of it. So
all right,
that's all I wanted to say.
All right, thanks for the
man.
call, Mike. Appreciate it. I think Mike was Mike at like a stamping plant?
I don't know.
Was he?
He's working the line somewhere.
Oh, good.
Getting
That's
her
nice.
done.
I like it. It's multitasking.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Daspin and Ament needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America, one life at a time.
I wish they would have me do a commercial. I'm from the New York area, and we don't trust anybody. I certainly didn't trust you guys at first. After all, you're like out of Utah. I was like, what is in Utah? Really? I listened to ESPN half the day, and I heard some little old man saying, oh, it's not fruits and veggies, and da-da-da-da. And I was so, when you're in pain, you will try anything. And I said, let me try it, but I need to tell you that I'm jogging now. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that again.
Talk to a Balance of Nature health coach today and see if getting the nutrition from over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables can make a difference in your life. Use discount code CHICAGO to receive free shipping on every order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. I love to barbecue, but there's nothing worse than running out of propane in the midst of cooking. It's all about being prepared, and that's how we look at your retirement planning.
Absolutely. That's why our whole team at Wealth Management Group is fired up about helping you be ready.
Tune in each week as we discuss practical ways to be ready for your retirement.
Find us at investwithwmg.com and pick Wealth Management Group to be your +1 this summer. Listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Now that winter is finally over, it's the perfect time to get your fireplace and chimney up to speed for the coming year. The Fireplace and Chimney Authority is the Midwest's largest fireplace and chimney company and offering specials on cleanings, inspections, and chimney repair. Call them today, 630-279-8500, and receive $40 off your next chimney cleaning and inspection, or $100 off masonry repairs over $750. Use discount code AM560 to claim this limited time offer. In business and veteran owned since 1992, let the Fireplace and Chimney Authority be your one-stop shop for all fireplace and chimney needs. Call today, 630-279-8500, or stop by into one of their beautiful showrooms in Lisle or Elmhurst to see Chicagoland's largest selection of fireplaces, gas logs, fire pits, outdoor kitchens, and grills. Call them today, 630-279-8500.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, 3 bombshells against 3 Chicago heavyweights. We'll explain.
Not bombshells.
Well, I think they are. Jesse Smollett's going down.
You've been watching too much CNN. Everything's a bombshell. Everything's breaking news. 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott with some bombshell news.
Well, you've been talking about it this morning. Tariffs on imports from Mexico could rise as much as 25% over the next few months. And reaction this morning from the acting Secretary of Homeland Security, who says there are 3 major asks that the United States would like to make of Mexico to prevent those new tariffs from being imposed.
The White House is not laying out any specific criteria for what would constitute Mexican compliance with these new demands, but Kevin McAleenan, the acting Secretary of Homeland Security, says that there are 3 things that Trump would like to see from Mexico. He wants to see more vigorous Mexican efforts to secure the border. Second, he's calling for a massive crackdown on the organizations that help migrants travel through Mexico to the U.S. And potentially, most significantly, he would like to see an alliance with Mexico on asylum, stipulating that Mexico is a safe place for people fleeing Central America, and thus Central Americans arriving at the U.S.-Mexican border are not entitled to asylum hearings.
That's our reporter Mike Bauer in Washington. Louisiana's Democrat governor has signed a strict abortion ban into law, but that bill will only take effect if a similar law in Mississippi is upheld in federal court. The Minneapolis City Council is drafting a new ordinance that will limit landlords' ability to screen prospective tenants. Housing advocates say the process involving criminal credit and eviction history checks doesn't give the full picture of a person's ability to be a good tenant. One person is dead, 2 others hurt after being struck by falling rocks while climbing Mount Rainier in Washington state yesterday. Health officials are confirming a case of the measles in Kane County. County Health Department says a person with the viral infection visited several local retailers like Best Buy and a Meijer. Embattled Chicago Alderman Ed Burke, more legal hot water after being indicted by a federal grand jury on racketeering, bribery, and attempted extortion charges. UIC, Illinois State, and Illinois opened the NCAA baseball tournament today. The Redbirds clash with the second-seeded Indiana Hoosiers. In the same regional, UIC will clash with the Redbirds of Louisville, the number 1 seed, while Illinois earns a number 2 seed in Oxford, Mississippi. They'll take on the 3 seed in that regional, Clemson. Professionally, the White Sox cruise to a 10-4 win over the Indians at Guaranteed Rate Field. And the Wolves this weekend open up Game 1 of the AHL Calder Cup Finals visiting the Charlotte Checkers. The news service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma, here's to progress. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
News, opinion, insight.
They broke the deal. They can't do that. So they'll be paying. We don't make the deal.
What happens next happens here.
The special counsel's finding is clear. Case closed.
That's just not a fact. The case is not closed.
These stories and more are changing by the minute. Check in 2, 3, 4 times each day for the latest.
If they do anything, it would be a very bad mistake.
This is AM 560. The Answer.
Imagine what it's like to be the spouse of a first responder, a police officer, firefighter, or paramedic. Every day you send your loved one out into the world not knowing if he or she will come home safely. And if they don't come home safely, how would you support your family?
Well, that's the mission of the 100 Clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties, to provide for the families of fallen first responders. And we're proud to partner with the 100 Clubs this year at our annual golf outing coming up on Monday, June 24th at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies.
And today you can purchase a foursome and help promote your business. Just call 312-363-6680 to purchase a foursome for just $1,196.
Portion of the proceeds goes to the 100 Clubs as they support the families of fallen first responders. And you will receive 25 60-second commercials that will air right here on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m.
Call 312-363-6680 and ask for the Business Benefactor Program. That's 312-363-6680 or go to 560theanswer.com/golf. Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and my good friend Mike Lindell, you know, the MyPillow guy, has authorized me to make the best offer ever on radio, TV, or in store. For a limited time only, you can get a 2-pack of premium MyPillows for only $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow, the lowest price ever offered in the history of MyPillow. If you don't own a MyPillow yet or already know why this is the pillow everybody wants and loves because you have one, then get the best deal ever. And by the way, you can still get 30% off pet beds, mattress toppers, and those Giza cotton sheets that I love. So act now to get this brand new, absolutely lowest price ever of 2 premium MyPillows for only $69.98. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, or MyPillow.com. Use promo code Amy.
Visit MyPillow.com.
Trees provide us with many benefits: clean air, energy cost savings, and improved aesthetics, just to name a few. However, if trees are not managed properly, they can wind up costing us more than the benefits provide. The mission of Graff Tree Care is to maximize the benefits of your trees while helping minimize costs, risk, and liability. Graff Tree Care is the leader in urban forest management, tree inventory, and tree risk management. Working with over 30 municipalities, 50 park districts, and hundreds of homeowners associations, Graff Tree Care uses a tech-based platform to keep track of your trees in real time. They use the system to map, monitor, and plan for your tree population. Graff Tree Care will maximize the benefits and minimize the costs and risks of your trees in Illinois or Indiana. Go to grafftreecare.com and schedule a free consultation and review of your current tree management plan. Learn about safety and savings for your municipality, park district, or HOA. Go to graphtreecare.com and schedule a free consultation. graphtreecare.com.
It is 6:38 AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Tri-State Tollway southbound 294 traffic is crawling from the Reagan Tollway to the Hinsdale Oasis, where the tollway is open but 2 right lanes are blocked. There's been a collision involving 2 semis, hazmat situation as well. Northbound traffic is jammed Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis. Eastbound Reagan Tollway before Orchard, there's a collision on the shoulder. There's a delay from 25 to the Aurora Toll Plaza. Aiden's 21 minutes Lake Cook to the Junction. Kennedy, 26 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower, 38 minutes 390 to the Burn Circle. Stevenson is 49 minutes 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Partly sunny, very warm this afternoon, high 84, currently 62. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we got 14-count indictment against Burke. We got 11 new charges against R. Kelly. But all we got is this lousy document dump with respect to Jussie Smollett.
Well, it was 460 pages, and there is some new information.
Yeah.
Did you know that he received a phone call from a male voice who made a homophobic remark? Allegedly, he got that at the studio, which that's also the same place where he was sent a death threat, quote unquote, with some white powder substance in there. But the documents, suggest that he did a few things. That he would not, and this I think is the most important, he refused to look at a photo array of his alleged attackers. And those photos included the Ascendario brothers. Refused to do that. Also, talked about the color of the skin of his attacker. He said that the person had pale skin. He went from the person was white to the person was pale.
White male who wore a black ski mask with an open eye area. He was able to see the color of the person's skin through that open area of the mask. He also stated he was unable to provide a description of his second attacker. Assumed they were white due to the comments that were made, he said.
Oh, because they sounded white? Or is because they were saying, this is MAGA country?
He said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back.
Yeah.
I noticed the rope
ran
around
away.
my neck, and I started screaming.
Yeah.
And then they got into a tussle underneath the stairwell.
It's right out
he's so tough.
Right out of a Wayans Brothers movie. I'm going to get you, sucker, to be specific. When shown photos of the Ascendario brothers, he identified the one as his friend in an extra empire. He identified his brother, but said he didn't know the brother's name. He said the two could not be his attackers. Quote, they're black as sin. We don't have any issues. They are straight, so we don't have any problems with women or men. They did not owe me any money. I don't owe them money. We have a good relationship. So that's why they couldn't be his attackers. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
We also learned that the Ascendario brothers were going to procure drugs for him. Cannabis, ecstasy, possibly cocaine.
N-word. You still got a Molly connect? Smollett texted one of the Ascendario brothers. Ha, ha, ha. I'm going to need a good pills. Ha, ha. Okay, that sounds like he is on Molly with this quality of his grammar, but okay. Many similar conversations where he asked for other drugs, as you mentioned. He also, the report details the setup of this hoax, instructing them to yell empire, F-word, for derogatory for a gay person, empire, N-word, derogatory for black person. The plan, according to the case file, was that he would respond, what did you say? What did you say?
Wait.
You talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
Is nobody else here? So I don't.
What did you say?
You want to go? Do you want to go?
It getting real here right now. And remember, they practice in the Dario brothers' Lakeview apartment. The Saturday before, so they
rehearsal.
They had a script and they had rehearsal. So this is what you're gonna do.
And scene.
And cut. That's a wrap. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the whole thing. I mean, and then people are still buying his bull jive.
I'm an advocate. You do such a disservice when you lie about things like this. Who the would make something like this up or add something?
Yeah, you
I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, at first it was a thing of like, listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth.
The only that's it truth there is Empire is that's it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, they have one more season left, and we're not 100% sure whether or not his character's
He's
returning.
gone. But they already bought him
But
out.
one
He's
thing I
done.
found interesting, I was watching ABC 7, Chuck Gowdy, the Silver Fox over there, and he said that, and he showed it on the big screen, that some police officers knew that there was going to be a deal struck, that he was going to plead. Now, he wasn't going to plead guilty. They were going to drop the charges, and he was going to pay the $10,000.
Well,
which he should have been paying $132,000 because that's how much resources he wasted, and overtime and all that.
The information, according to the docu-dump and the reporting on it, right? Cook County prosecutor Risa Lanier, she's the one who sent out that missive looking for other similar cases. Hey, help us with other similar cases so we can cover our tracks. She believed in the case would end with Smollett paying restitution, doing community service. So there was some tip-off that it may go this direction, but well, so what? So some police were tipped off that it could go that direction. It doesn't make
Superintendent Eddie Johnson didn't know about it, nor did Mayor Emanuel.
Well,
never got up that high in the food chain, that information.
Perhaps it did. They disagreed. Perhaps they didn't say anything and waited to see if Kim Foxx had the gumption to do it. Regardless, it's the public's reaction that counts. It's the public's confidence in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office that counts.
And I'll never get that back because Kim Foxx is in charge. That will not happen.
In addition, it's the police's stated confidence in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office that counts. So, they act like this is exculpatory in some way because some police were apparently tipped off, according to the reporting on the document, Tom. And this is not exculpatory in any way. It doesn't change the dynamic in any way, other than maybe having more questions for whoever had advance notice and who, if anyone, they told. But in terms of the substance of the action taken, if we could just focus on the substance, I know the press corps can't, but we can. It doesn't change a thing. And by the way, just how fracking long does it take for the G to make a determination on the letter he allegedly sent himself so that he can at least face federal charges?
I know.
It's
still
insane.
an open investigation. It's so stupid.
Get it done already. High profile, throw an extra person on it if you need to. Get it done.
Maybe they're waiting to the week of July 1st when a lot of people aren't paying attention.
I would think they want to make a splash because people are going to feel like the feds stepped in and did a make good for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. It will be received well if he's ultimately held to account in some material way that he hasn't been yet. So I don't know what the feds are waiting for. It's these federal prosecutors, as we've seen throughout the Mueller investigation, they're not beyond reproach and not above being political and should be the targets of questions and demands for answers. Honestly. By the way, I still have answers about or questions about Kim Foxx. And I know there's supposed to be some sort of review of her decision-making as well with her phony baloney recusal from the case. Tina Chen, the Chen in the Fox House.
Yeah, and Chen is former, to Michelle Obama?
Chief of Staff to Michelle
Obama.
Obama.
Yeah.
The reach out by the Chen in the Fox House, not prompted at all by Michelle Obama.
See, I think she was the conduit between
The
the
cutout.
two, and that's why they wanted to
Well,
drop the charges, because you can't have Michelle Obama on the witness stand.
These are questions that I would like answers to. Is there any evidence of direct communication between Michelle Obama and Kim Fox? Is there anything that Michelle Obama or one of her emissaries offered Kim Fox if she made this case go away? There's a lot of rumors. I'm not going to repeat them all, or I'm not going to repeat them specifically because I can't corroborate them. So just because that's what the punditry class does doesn't mean that's what I'm going to do. But there's specific rumors in this direction. And when you have the former chief of staff of the First Lady intercede, and she did, we know that. That's established. Right. It's a logical question to ask based on some relationship Smollett appeared to have with the Obamas, certainly some interaction with them.
He's been at the White House 3 times.
Was Michelle Obama, did she involve herself in any material way? Was anything promised to Kim Fox in exchange for her making the case go away? Those are questions that have not been answered. They should be answered.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Oh, yeah, and R. Kelly's still going to jail.
Oh, R. Kelly, wait, is he
We
still,
think.
Wait, is he still crying?
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my friend.
Robert. I mean, do you think that guy's a little unhinged? She's 11 new counts, more criminal counts, but no new victims. And there are some allegations and possible charges of human trafficking, taking teenage girls across state line.
I wonder, she's got to be thinking, how can I pin this on that MAGA country guy?
Oh, yeah.
Who beat up Jussie Smollett?
Yeah.
And can the Essendario brothers get me some drugs? Cindy and Joliet.
Good morning, Dan. Hi, Amy.
Morning.
So, just a couple points. One, give Jesse a pea hat. That's a starter. Secondly, if the Essendario brothers gave him one punch, not even each, just either one of them punch him, he'd have landed back in California.
Yes.
And honestly, this Chen Fox connection is because the Obamas have this new production company, which is the Hollywood Connect. And, Jesse's their boy because, he's a young, fresh face. He's climbing the ladder of fame and fortune. So you got to protect your assets. It's just everybody has a secondary or tertiary agenda. You know that, Dan and Amy. You guys
Well,
talk about it all the
I
time.
know. That's why I want answers, and I want a reckoning, and I want people to do their jobs, and I want to know what's taking the feds so long. Make a frickin' determination already, and I want answers to the questions from police or whoever with respect to the engagement of politicos like Tina Chen. So I want people to stand in front of a microphone in public view and answer some frickin' questions and do their frickin' jobs. I don't think that's too much to ask. Thanks for the call, Cindy.
Well, what I had heard is that Michelle Obama had hooked those two up, because you would see one of the first text messages say, my friend Tina Chen, but it's redacted, so we don't know.
We don't know. So I want questions answered. It's an obvious question to ask, and the Chicago press corps is not asking it because they don't want to know the answer. They certainly wouldn't want to have to report a negative answer. So we're asking it. This is MAGA Country, a Netflix original, starring Jussie Smollett.
It's MAGA Country.
This is MAGA Country. I like that. That could be one of their $50 million. They're one of the projects on a $50 million deal. Huh. David in McCook.
Hey, happy Friday, guys. This is purely coincidental, but I, too, got attacked by two bodybuilders a couple nights ago when I was coming out of Subway.
Yeah.
I made a mess out of those guys. There was tuna salad everywhere.
All right, David, stay out of Streeterville. We don't like your kind.
It's 23 degrees below zero, and you go get a tuna salad sandwich?
Bodybuilders they were probably cooling down from a workout and hanging out outside.
You get fries and a gyro from Five Faces at 2 in the morning.
Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Couple quick points here. First off, we don't say this is MAGA country. I wear a MAGA hat, and I say this is America, from sea to shining sea. Second, how much is this costing us? Between the $130,000 on the Jussie Smollett and the $330,000 toilet boy cost the taxpayers. Who's going to pay for my pension? Third,
nobody.
The FBI.
That's who.
Yeah, nobody.
You didn't have money before these cases began, so.
Yeah. Third, the FBI is still looking into Daley and the hired truck and the Skyway. They're not going to do anything about it. And fourth, Tina Chen looks like she's been putting on a lot of weight lately. Who knew your neighbor's dogs and cats could be so fat?
All right. Thanks for the call, Mike.
I need to find a MAGA Trump supporter and get him to beat me up in the streets. And then I'll make more money.
But you see, where would you find Trump supporters willing to participate in this risky scheme?
I'm looking at him right now.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Volkswagen's Chattanooga plant is union organizing, and J.P. Morgan Chase settles a parental leave lawsuit, while MGM Resorts cuts nearly 800 jobs. Those stories next.
Hi, this is Dennis Prager. In addition to radio, I have spent years, actually decades, in a classroom teaching the Torah. The class was called Dennis Teaches the Torah. I took all 5 books and explained fascinating details that most people had not seen before. Every lecture, every class, for every book was recorded over 250 hours, and it was made available to the public. In the Prager store, you can now buy the complete Torah teachings. You'll hear and learn what the students in the classroom heard and learned. You can listen on your phone, iPad, laptop. To celebrate the release of the new volume of the Rational Bible, Genesis, the Prager store is offering all of my Torah teachings for 50% off and giving away a free autographed copy of the new book. Go to pragerstore.com or click the banner at dennisprager.com.
1,700 hourly workers at the Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga will vote next month. That vote on whether to join the United Auto Workers Union. Company officials say they're neutral on whether the workers should join. J.P. Morgan Chase to create a $5 million fund to compensate men who were denied parental leave at the bank. In settling the lawsuit from male employees, Chase also agreed to apply its parental leave policy to both men and women equally. The bank offers up to 16 weeks of paid parental leave to primary caregivers. The Commerce Department today updating personal income and spending numbers for April. Casino operator MGM Resorts cutting nearly 800 management jobs in Las Vegas. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% vine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Along with diet and exercise, Mother Nature provides fruits and vegetables to help us maintain good health.
To order, go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Keene Jr. of the Mail House, Inc., a family-owned and operated digital print mail house with a specialty in political advertising and a customer of Signature Bank. We knew that getting a loan to buy our business wouldn't be easy, so we turned to one of our trusted friends for a referral. She told us about the outstanding level of customer service her business received at Signature Bank since becoming one of their first customers in 2006. Today, we couldn't be happier. Not only did Signature help us finance the purchase of the mail house, but they supported our growth as we modernized our operations in mailing as well as from traditional to digital printing. If you're looking for a great bank to grow your business, take a look at Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When the world is watching,
and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. I love to barbecue, but there's nothing worse than running out of propane in the midst of cooking. It's all about being prepared, and that's how we look at your retirement planning.
Absolutely. That's why our whole team at Wealth Management Group is fired up about helping you be ready.
Tune in each week as we discuss practical ways to be ready for your retirement.
Find us at investwithwmg.com and pick Wealth Management Group to be your +1 this summer. Listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
President Trump's new plan to stop a surge of illegal immigration. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Make Mexico pay for it with tariffs starting at 5% June 10th. Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney.
We fully believe they have the ability to stop people coming in from their southern border. And if they're able to do that, these tariffs will either not go into place or will be removed after they go into place.
If not, the tariffs go up by 5% for months after that. Mexico's trade negotiator says it's disastrous. Democrats in the House Homeland Security Committee call it asinine. Many Democrats keep pushing to impeach President Trump for obstructing the House investigation and over evidence in the Mueller report. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told ABC's Jimmy Kimmel,
"As we go down this path, the American people will know the truth, and the president will be held accountable."
Attorney General Barr is reacting to what Robert Mueller said about the Trump-Russia probe the other day. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the Attorney General tells CBS News he believes Mueller could have reached a conclusion on obstruction of justice, despite a Justice Department policy that a sitting U.S. president cannot be indicted. As for whether Mueller's statement was an impeachment referral, as many Democrats have claimed,
the Department of Justice doesn't use our powers of investigating crimes as an adjunct to Congress.
Barr said when Mueller did not decide on obstruction, he and then Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein felt it was necessary to reach a conclusion. Dave.
Rachel, Missouri's only abortion clinic could close today. The state may not renew its license over safety concerns and reports of violations.
The state is eagerly moving to ban abortion in the state through the weaponized regulatory process.
Evie Mead with Planned Parenthood. How do you spell unprecedented?
We'll soon run out of words that can possibly challenge you.
And they did run out at the Scripps National Spelling Bee on ESPN, so the 8 remaining spellers were all declared the co-champions. And each one gets the full first place prize, $50,000. This is Fox News. Skies are cloudy right now. 62 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Health officials are confirming a case of the measles in Kane County. County Health Department officials say that person with the viral infection visited several local retailers and restaurants recently. That person is no longer infectious but may have exposed others. Embattled Chicago Alderman Ed Burke is in more legal hot water after being indicted by a federal grand jury on racketeering, bribery, and attempted extortion charges. Meantime, in the wake of the new Burke indictments, the Chicago Board of Ethics wants to make more changes to strengthen the city's ethics laws, proposing dozens of recommendations yesterday. And in the wake of the Burke indictments, the mayor is calling for Alderman Ed Burke to resign. R. Kelly faces a new series of sex crime charges. Cook County prosecutors brought 11 new felony counts against the embattled R&B singer yesterday. In Springfield, an amendment proposing a graduated income tax rate and the rates involved is now officially headed to voters after passing the Illinois House. Meantime, lawmakers are waiting till the last minute to propose and pass a state budget. The spring legislative session ends today As of last night, an empty bill set to contain budget language has passed out of committee. White Sox cruise to a 10-4 win over the Indians at Guaranteed Rate Field. Series continues tonight with Dylan Covey opposing Cleveland's Trevor Bauer. Cubs are in St. Louis, opening up a 3-game series with the Cardinals. And there's NCAA regional baseball tournament action today. UIC, Illinois State, and Illinois all in action. The news service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma, here's to progress. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560, The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
We've all read some surprising online reviews, whether scoping out a spot for vacation or trying to find the best happy hour. So why should finding software for your business be any different? With over 850,000 software reviews, make an informed decision with Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best business software. From applicant tracking to workflow software, read reviews in over 700 categories from users just like you. Join the 4 million people that use Capterra each month. Find the right software today with Capterra. That's CAPTERRA.com/radio.
Julia owed the IRS thousands.
I was paralyzed with fear.
Then
I heard a commercial for Optima Tax Relief.
Optima Tax Relief is the #1 tax resolution firm, A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and experts in the Fresh Start Initiative.
Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
It was amazing.
Call 800-973-7700. 800-973-7700.
Optima Tax Relief.
You're that person, the one in charge of all the logistics planning for a meeting or a conference. My company will make it better, easier, and more cost-effective and not charge you a dime for our services. This is Jeff Berger. My company is your new best friend, Conference Planning Resources. Contact us at thebestmeetings.com. If you require 50 or more hotel rooms each night, here's why you should work with us for your events. This is our specialty. There's no guesswork. You get what you want, better hotel room rates, better concessions, better contract language limiting your liabilities. We have the contacts. We get better deals than you can in all areas. Hotel guest room pricing, banquet food and beverage, audiovisual, and a myriad of other areas. Fortune 500 companies and national associations use us when dealing with hotels, and we will think about the things that you may not have considered. Use Conference Planning Resources for your next conference or meeting. Better meetings, less expense, less liability, saving you time. Contact us. See what we can do. Conference Planning Resources, thebestmeetings.com.
Krylon Fusion all-in-one spray paint bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection and excellent coverage. No sanding or priming necessary. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors, so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon, today we spray.
7:07, a check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Traffic is still a mess on the southbound tri-state from the Reagan Tollway to the Hinsdale Oasis, where 2 right lanes are blocked after a wreck involving 2 semis and a hazmat spill. The Hinsdale Oasis is a staging area, and it's now closed. Northbound traffic is clogged up 115th to the Oasis, and farther north from the O'Hare Oasis to Balmoral. Eastbound Reagan Tollway, there's a slowdown, 25 to the Aurora Toll, and the northbound Veterans Memorial from Maple to the Reagan Tollway. Eden's 22 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 35 minutes O'Hare to downtown. In Van Eyck, it's 39 minutes 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 55 minutes 355 to the Drive. Orion, 30 minutes from 95th. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A couple of foggy spots around this morning, then partly sunny and warm today, high 84. Clouds and a shower, a thunderstorm late tonight, low 63. Shower and a heavy thunderstorm in the area tomorrow could bring some downpours and damaging wind, high 72. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
62 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. You know what Fred Smith, the CEO of FedEx, says about business? The key to business?
What's the key to business?
Make the main thing the main thing. Byron York does a good job of that in Washington Examiner. Amid all of the bluster coming from every direction on every cable channel, from disgraced former FBI officials to contrived pundits with axes to grind. I mean, I love watching Andy McCabe on MSNBC, as he did yesterday. Andy McCabe, who has been referred by the Department of Justice as Inspector General for perjury. Criminal referral on McCabe for perjury.
And he still has a gig on MSNBC?
Sure, he's an authority, no less. Byron York, right in the Washington Examiner. You know what the problem was with the Mueller investigation? The fatal flaw? It was driven entirely by the conspiracy coordination allegation, which turned out to be false. Yeah. In one sentence, that sums up all 450 pages and everything that's been said and all of the histrionics from Paul's on the Hill. You know what? There's a big problem. Your main thing, your thesis, turned out to be false, and you just can't work around it. Whether you try to press Bob Mueller to testify on the Hill, to answer questions after his imperious diktat yesterday or not, you just can't get around it. Something else picked up, a keen observer, John Hindraker over at the Powerline blog. He picked up just a single word that Mueller provided in his remarks yesterday. 2 years ago, the acting attorney general asked me to serve as special counsel. He created the special counsel's office. The appointment order directed the office to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. This included investigating any links or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. Included. Included is the word. Well, if it included that, Hindraker asks, what else did Mueller's charge include? Nothing, apparently. But we actually know that there were links between a presidential campaign and Russians who, if they existed at all, likely were associated with the Putin regime. That campaign was Hillary Clinton's. And the Russians were those on whose reports Christopher Steele based his infamous dossier, if we're believed that he didn't make it up out of whole cloth. That's why you have some people suggesting that Republicans should press to have Bob Mueller whistled up to Senate Judiciary for some Q&A. Maybe something even the Trump White House would support, given Mueller's performance yesterday. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Bret Baier, of course, anchor of Special Report on Fox News, author of the book 3 Days in Moscow, Ronald Reagan and the Fall of the Soviet Empire, now available in paperback. Bret, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
So what about the state of play of who wants Mueller on the Hill to testify and who doesn't?
Yeah, who wants it more, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
I think, Jerry Nadler didn't suggest that he was going to subpoena Mueller. Mueller said as much that he would only tell you what's in the 448 pages, even if he was subpoenaed or called to testify. But I agree with you that there are many more Republican questions from Mueller, even if he didn't answer them. That would be interesting to see how he didn't answer them. I mean, for example, his whole premise that the Office of Legal Counsel prevented him from not only reaching a conclusion on obstruction of justice, but even lodging a complaint, a possible indictment against the sitting president of the United States. If that was the conclusion early on, when did he reach that conclusion? When did he reach the conclusion that there was no conspiracy to collude with the Russians? How early? Because possibly he reached it in June or July.
Right, but then he went on.
You had a midterm election in the midterm.
Yeah, he went on to say though twice that you can't charge a sitting president with a crime.
He did, and that was his interpretation of the OLC opinion, which is fine. And Barr said, okay, we don't, fully agree with that, but we're going to work in your framework. But you have to get to a conclusion. You have to get to, I'm not going to charge him with a crime, but if I could, this is why I would.
Well, that's exactly
he didn't
it.
Get there.
That's and Jonathan Turley, I know Fox News contributor as well, law professor George Washington. That's the point that he makes in his piece in The Hill, which is, wait a second, you're conflating issues with respect to DOJ protocols. Yes, that is the standard in terms of you cannot indict a sitting president. Sitting president can't stand trial. However, you can absolutely, and Barr said this in his interview on CBS this morning yesterday as well, you can absolutely indicate what you believe to be true.
That's the purpose of an investigation.
Right. Yes. Right. I mean, so that to me is a whole nother line of questioning. Explain that out. He just sort of made that a declaration yesterday because he wasn't challenged. I'd like to see how he stands up to a legal challenge on the topic.
No, the other one was that, when talking about the Russian indictments, which really were significant, came in July. And these are the Russians who were indicted for actually doing things. But in the statement, Mueller said, they are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But when it came to the president, he said, if we had not found a crime, we would have exonerated him.
Right.
It's a different standard.
Right.
When did we go to the exoneration standard for, legal prosecutors?
Well, so do you think he was inviting Congress to impeach Trump?
100%. I mean, he's inviting Congress to take the ball, saying, I'm done, your job. And Barr on CBS said, that is not our job. We are not to stir up Congress. We are not to, pitch a softball to Congress. We are to call balls and strikes, go, no go. Do we have a case? Don't we have a case? And then your job is done.
Yeah, and nobody is confused that the power to impeach resides in Congress. So, I mean, it was just sort of covering his own punt yesterday, what Mueller was doing, as it seems to me. In addition to that, the contradiction in his own sort of principled standard for analysis and decision. So he made a determination on the president with respect to Volume 1 and conspiracy to collude with a foreign agent, because no American committed conspiracy to collude with a foreign actor. So that by definition exonerates him, but he's not allowed to make a determination of guilt or innocence, of crime or no crime, as it pertains to the president on obstruction. That doesn't make any sense.
The whole thing's a little convoluted, and it has thrown Washington once again into a tizzy. And, I think it's a political problem for Nancy Pelosi and frankly, Joe Biden, who are trying to ride this line of a call on the left side of the party, really intense call for impeachment, and the reality of whether that could be, one, prosecuted, obviously wouldn't get past the Senate, but two, politically perilous, especially for independents.
But Nancy Pelosi said that should not be a political decision, Brad.
Exactly. I think it's going to be fascinating. Listen, it's going to be, you don't know where this is all going to come down. I do know there are a lot of other big things happening in the world. I mean, North Korea executes the envoy who set up the Hanoi and Singapore summits, the guy that was in the Oval Office. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
The Mexico tariffs that now, Grassley and Ernst in Iowa are pushing against. as the president hands over the new NAFTA to get approved that has no tariffs
Right.
for Mexico. I mean, the whole thing. You got a lot of news.
Right. So anyway, so we'll ignore all the important stuff. Get back to the political theater now that you've. One other question on the actual news piece of this, though, too, not just the political back and forth. DOJ report from Horowitz forthcoming, and then you've just embarked on the 2016 review by U.S. Attorney Durham, appointed by Barr. How do you think this proceeds? Is it the position of House Democrats that they want to wait to see which shoes will drop with that IG report and the investigations underway coming out of Justice before they make a go, no-go decision?
No, I think they'd rather go, at least Nadler and the committee chairs, Maxine Waters and Conyers and others. I think they would rather start investigations and hearings, to have something in the forefront getting attention as those other things drop. I mean, I think we're probably, 3 weeks away, if I would guess, from Horowitz, but soon thereafter, because the special attorney set up for looking into that is kind of shadowing Horowitz and now has access to all the classified information because of the D-class move by the president.
So going to Mexico, the trade agreement he wants the House to take up, and then this tariff gambit. Trump loves his tariffs as an instrument of foreign policy, doesn't he? What exactly is the White House's play here? Is this sort of a show, kind of a show of force, because they can't get anything substantive done at the border, and if it's just a show, how long does that show go on?
I mean, I have no clue. This kind of came out of the blue last night, and I think today we'll play out and see, how they explain it. I mean, this is not Larry Kudlow economics.
No.
But it is the images of 1,000 people being, brought in custody along the border yesterday is a significant number, and it's beyond a crisis now on the border. And both parties acknowledge that. This is the hammer that he wants to use to Mexico, but at the same time wants Congress to pass this new NAFTA agreement, essentially, the USMC. And, it sends mixed messages as you're also fighting a trade war with China. So
right, we call it USMCA. USMC, right, Dan?
Rolls off the tongue, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
it just flows. But I don't think trade policy and border security, I think those are separate issues. And I know that he, implied these tariffs because I'm sure he saw the thousands of people crossing over into El Paso from Ciudad Juarez yesterday and said, let's do tariffs. But it affects the consumers, and I'm worried about 2020 if he keeps up with, using tariffs every time that there's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine if it turns out, and there's a negotiation. But if it drags on and drags down the U.S. economy, when it is cooking at a lot of cylinders, I think there are a lot of people that share your concern.
Oh, wait, real quick. Can you golf with us in our golf tournament, Brett Bay? We're having a golf tournament Monday, June 24th.
Yeah, Amy's on the IR, and so she needs a replacement. So she figured you might be suitable. Yeah, she broke her wrist.
Yeah, I broke my wrist, and I can't play golf for 6 weeks.
I'm sorry about that. Well, let me check the calendar. Maybe I'll get out there.
Yeah, if you're in town, your wife's from out this way. Maybe you're gonna. It's at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, our people will get in touch with your people on that, Brett.
All right. Let's see if we can make it happen.
All right. Brett Baer, Fox News Anchor, special report, 5 p.m. Chicago time during the week. The book, 3 Days in Moscow, Ronald Reagan and the Fall of the Soviet Empire, now available in paperback. Brett, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys.
See you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
We're back on the radio and getting bigger than ever.
We're the #1 Lincoln dealer in town.
And Chicagoland's first ever Ford Lincoln Superstore, too.
Folks like our great deals, for sure.
Just yesterday, I got attacked by the paparazzi.
Really?
But I think the groupies are the worst.
Groupies?
All the Highland Park groupies we have.
Sure. Right, Al.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Well, I have groupies.
A rich fantasy life is important.
This is Al and Marty. Deal with us.
You know what? He didn't say no, Dan. There is a possibility that Brett Baer may be able to golf with us on Monday, June 24th at the Mystic Wood Golf Club in Romeoville.
Right, the same chance that Lauren Holly will get with Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
See? Call 312-363-6680 to join in on the fun. Again, it's our annual golf outing this year benefiting the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. Our morning shotgun is sold out, but we do have some foursomes and our 2 p.m. afternoon shotgun. So join us Monday, June 24th. Again, call 312-363-6680. Anyone can join us again for a great day of golf. And if you are a business owner or marketing manager, then we've got a great deal for you. You can purchase a foursome for $1,196. And as a way of saying thank you, we'll give you 25 one-minute commercials to promote your business. It's the best deal in all of Chicagoland radio. It's a $3,000 value for just $1,196. Plus, you get to enjoy a great day of golf. There's a buffet lunch, an all-you-can-eat buffet, and dinner when you join us, along with that golf in between. So call 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680, or learn more at 560theanswer.com/golf.
If you have pain, listen up, Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
You know, I might have told this story before, but I was at Online Training Academy in Lombard, and I met this man who's been taking Balance of Nature for 5 years. And I said, well, what have you noticed? He said, well, I don't feel a day older than I did 5 years ago. How many people can say that they feel the same that they felt 5 years ago, especially when we're in our 50s and 60s? So you should give Balance of Nature a try. It does help with your immune system. It helps boost your energy level. If you have aches and pains, they will go away. I don't have leg cramps anymore since I started taking Balance of Nature. And really, it's the easiest way to get enough fruits and veggies in your diet. So stop waiting to try Balance of Nature. Thousands of people are taking it, including me, and we're enjoying healthier, more active lifestyles. So here's what you do. Right now, if you order your bottles of Balance of Nature, you'll get 15% off plus free shipping. But you've got to call to get Balance of Nature. The number is 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My wife and I were buying a new home. We had talked to a few different lenders, really had a very impersonal experience. Most of them just quoted us rates, never followed up. In comparison, Townstone, our mortgage broker, Zach, were amazing. They really helped us understand the mortgage process and made sure that we knew exactly how much we could borrow, how to best borrow it, and really found the solution that was a fit for our financial situation.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, well.
Looky what we have here, folks.
Meryl Streep lurches into an insight. How about this? Meryl Streep, no friend of conservatives, as, of course, is a fair characterization of 99% of Hollywood. The great actress, she's in a program called Big Little Lies with Nicole Kidman on HBO.
It's coming out again, season 2 on June 9th. Did you see season 1?
No.
So good.
It's a chick thing, right?
But you might enjoy it.
No, I don't think so.
Get in touch with your feminine side, Dan.
I prefer not to. During the talk promoting Big Little Lies, Streep said that she doesn't like the term toxic masculinity. Sometimes I think we're hurt. We hurt our boys by calling something toxic masculinity. I do, and I don't find that putting those two words together, because women can be pretty toxic. It's toxic people. We have our good angels and our bad ones. I think the labels are less helpful than what we're trying to get to, which is communication direct between human beings. We're all on the boat together. We've got to make it work. Boy, thank God she has writers. But I appreciate her point that
she's had a come to Jesus moment, kind of.
I guess. I mean,
in this Me Too movement,
just a fit of common sense. There's nothing inherently toxic about being masculine. I mean, don't tell the American Psychological Association that, of course. But yes, that it's a character that's determinative, not gender. Oh, and by the way, Marl, since we're on the topic, it's XX and XY.
Oh,
you can't until you can figure out how to move the XXs and the XYs around.
Which one are you?
Which one are you?
I'm a combo.
Are you? You're a miracle of science, are you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we welcome Meryl Streep to this Fit with Common Sense, and hopefully she'll have more tantrums of common sense in the near term.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, it's Friday in Illinois, May 31st, the end of the General Assembly's legislative session. And you know what that means. A catastrophe is in the offing. Today, codifying the legalization of infanticide, legalizing dope, $41 billion capital bill can't finance. The new rates are out on the increased income taxes you'll be paying. And see if we can get by Neil Bloom to get legalized sports betting. Those are the wonderful things on the table in Illinois to make this death cult of a state that much more unattractive to reside in. And we'll discuss it all at 7:37.
And this year's loser in the spelling bee is the dictionary. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's the one and only Mike Scott.
63, Attorney General Bill Barr says Special Counsel Robert Mueller could have reached a decision on whether President Trump obstructed justice. Barr made that argument in a long-form interview on CBS News.
We live in a hyper-partisan age where people no longer really pay attention to the substance of what's said, but as to who says it and what side they're on and what its political ramifications are. The Department of Justice is all about the law and the facts and the substance.
Mueller says this week he was blocked by a longstanding Justice Department policy that says a sitting president cannot be charged with a federal crime while in office. Mexico's president is sending his top diplomat to Washington. He'll try to hammer out a deal with President Trump after the president announced new tariffs on Mexican imports in reaction to a surge in migrants at the southern border. One person is dead, 2 others are injured after falling rocks hit them while they were climbing Mount Rainier in Washington state. A judge is expected to rule later today on the license renewal of the only Planned Parenthood clinic in Missouri that performs abortions. Arguments concluded in a hearing yesterday. If it's not renewed, that license, Missouri would be the first state without an abortion clinic. Health officials are confirming a case of the measles in Kane County. County Health Department says a person with a viral infection had visited several local retailers and restaurants recently. Embattled Chicago Alderman Ed Burke in more legal hot water. An indictment filed yesterday accuses the city's longest-serving city council member of using his power to extort private legal work from companies and individuals doing business with the city. R. Kelly is facing a new series of sex crime charges. Cook County prosecutors brought 11 new felony counts against the embattled R&B singer yesterday. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is putting up the block on a proposed expanded restaurant tax paid by Lakeview restaurants and bars to benefit McCormick Place. A bill passed by the Illinois Senate would have expanded the area where Chicago diners in the Lakeview neighborhood are charged a 1% tax to help fund construction at the massive convention center over 8 miles away. Illinois House Executive Committee have been scheduled to consider that measure, but now it is nearly permanently put on hold. Yonder Alonso and Jose Abreu with 2-run home runs. White Sox 10-4 winners over the Indians. Cubs are in St. Louis this weekend for a 3-game set. The news service of Krylon Fusion all-in-one spray. It's a paint that bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection and excellent coverage. No sanding or priming necessary. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors, so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon, today we spray. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains what energy independence means.
Being energy independent for the first time in 75 years. All the countries that we would depend on for the energy in this country that hate us, we don't need them anymore, ever. Once we can compete, the people that would benefit the most are American workers.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
The 16th century Council of Trent pronounced the first catechism of the Roman Catholic Church. In 1992, St. Pope John Paul II promulgated our current version, an historic achievement, but one with its own novelties and some anomalies. Now, the Pope proposes his own changes to the catechism, changes arguably that cannot be reconciled with Catholic tradition. Can a catechism that can be revised this way still be called a catechism? And if not, then what is it? On June 14th, find out. Join LifeSite News contributor Dr. Peter Korzeniewski at the Catholic Citizens of Illinois Forum Luncheon, speaking on Of What Use is a Changing Catechism? To make your reservation, go to CatholicCitizens.org or call Maureen at 708-352-5834. That's 708-352-5834. Space is limited. Reserve now.
7:36 AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Southbound Tri-State traffic is jammed from the Reagan Tollway to the Hinsdale Oasis with a wreck blocking 2 right lanes. Northbound at 111th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. From Reagan Tollway, it's tight 22nd to the Tri-State. Northbound Veterans Memorial, I-55 to the Reagan Tollway at Lake Street to 290. See delays on southbound I-65. 73rd Avenue 30 due to construction. Eden's 21 minutes Lake Cook to the junction. Kennedy 47 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower 40 minutes 390 to downtown. Stevenson 54 minutes 355 to the drive. Ryan 30 minutes from 95th. I-57 25 minutes 90 to the merge. Bishop 427. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Partly sunny throughout the day, very warm, high 84. Cloudy, a shower or thunderstorm overnight, low 63. Currently, we have 62. Your next news update is at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the rates are out. These are the rates that will, the new income tax rates for Illinois. There will be a ballot question on the November 2020 ballot to ratify these, and then the General Assembly will encode them into law in early 2021. That'll be the new income tax regime in Illinois. 4.75% from 0 to 10 grand. Remember, 4.95 flat is where we're at now. 4.9% from 10 grand to 100 grand. 4.95 from 100 to 250. 7.75 from 250 to 5.
Ouch.
7.85 from 5 to $1 million. And then I think it's 7.99 above that.
We just penalize people for being successful. Really. The more money you make, the more they take.
Fair share, Miss Jacobson. Fair share.
Oh, okay.
So that's good news, and you will vote for it
Because everybody, they're a bunch of lemmings there. They'll just do it.
because 97% will pay the same or lower rates, according to Governor Jellybelly, and he'll pound that on the airwaves as he has been, and the cult members, which represent a majority of the state, will lap it up. And we'll continue to see the exodus of productive people. But now at least you know, if you're sort of kicking it around, thinking about moving, well, now you know you're on a definitive 18-month clock before those rates take effect. Right? I mean, nobody wants to pretend that this isn't going to pass, do they? No. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Good news, though. If the House today does what the Senate does yesterday, you'll have the opportunity to numb yourself to the greater extraction of your resources from you to the state. And that's because the Senate passed the legalization of dope yesterday.
And now it goes to the House today.
That's right.
And it'll pass, don't you think? So all those state reps were clamoring at the microphone yesterday, trying to get in and say their say of what they think, how this is going to benefit the state. You know, your girlfriend, Kelly Cassidy, former heterosexual turned lesbian.
Cannabis legalization is here. It is coming.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity to set the appropriate tone for the country.
As Illinois is always doing. That is Illinois' calling card around the nation and the world, setting the tone of propriety with respect to the rule of law. Kelly Cassidy, also the lead sponsor of the infanticide bill. Interesting. Neil Anderson, Republican, state senator from Quad Cities, he voted for it, saying, freedom is freedom. Oh.
Was he a libertarian? You said he's a Republican?
Yeah, he's a Republican. Yeah. Freedom is freedom. Oh, I see. Freedom is freedom. Okay, well then, Senator Anderson, then why are we stopping at marijuana?
Yeah, why not cocaine? And then that'll be heroin. I mean, marijuana is just a gateway drug to other things.
Why should it be a gateway drug? It doesn't need to be a gateway drug. If freedom is freedom, then what is the limitation? Freedom is freedom.
They had someone speak on the Senate floor yesterday who was very effective. He said, just talked about the homeless rate in Colorado since the legalization of marijuana has gone up 35%. The number of accidents and fatal accidents, too, has almost twofolded.
Freedom is freedom. Prostitution?
What's next?
I want to hear the limiting. What's the limiting principle to the argument freedom is freedom? Is there any?
Let's reach out to that lawmaker and see if he'll come on our show to explain himself. I'd love to hear it.
Also, by the way, some other interesting notes about the dope bill, the dope legalization. It gives a preference in license applications to people who live in or have connections to neighborhoods characterized by high rates of arrest for marijuana and other drug-related offenses. So, as Chapin Rose, senator from Central Illinois, he reacted saying, there's a limited number of licenses, and we're going to give preference to vendors who are going to be in the poor zip codes in Illinois. We're going to give preference to keeping poor people stoned, as it were.
Well, our good friend LaShawn Ford, state rep, was talking about that. He doesn't want one on every street corner.
I made sure that I negotiated in this bill that there will not be dispensaries on every corner so that the people on the west side won't be saddled with liquor stores and marijuana dispensaries.
Yeah, I know. And there won't be video poker machines in every corner either. Take a look at the heat map of video poker machines in Illinois.
I want to see that.
The bill would also allow adults 21 and older to legally buy and possess marijuana, 30 grams of cannabis flower, 5 grams of cannabis concentrate.
Does it say anything in the bill about how many plants we can have in our basement?
It's sort of the 5-plant rule. So here's the thing. Here's what's actually happening. So the law is providing these dispensary licensees the opportunity to build drug cartel infrastructure. So one of the things that's happening in Colorado, in addition to the
a homeless rate
impacts, in addition to that, with respect to the operation of these enterprises, they're buying up relatively inexpensive multifamily housing units and using those as expanded growing facilities, 5 plants per unit. So that's part of the supply chain now.
Oh my! I didn't even think about that.
Sure. What you're
I
doing.
mean, that's a brilliant, it's sinister. But
all you have to do is watch Narcos, and now that the government is sanctioning it, you just follow the.
Yeah, that'll pay the mortgage.
You follow the Escobar blueprint. So that's another aspect of. Oh, by the way, Oregon, which was the gold standard for marijuana legalization, Kelly Cassidy hopes
we're the place
Illinois
where you can turn a dead loved one into compost.
Oregon is a wash-in pot glutted with so much legal weed that if growing were to stop today, it could take more than 6 years by one estimate to smoke or eat it all. We'll have to get the Rastafarians out there. Now the state is looking to curb production. 5 years after voters legalized recreational marijuana, lawmakers are moving to give the Liquor Control Commission more leeway to deny new licenses based on supply and demand. Oh, so now you have the government getting into the determination of supply and demand. They're setting the Pareto equilibrium for the marijuana dispensaries in Oregon. They didn't predict what the demand would be and the supply, the oversupply, to meet it or to continue to incentivize, to foment more demand. Oregon has one of the highest such imbalances among the 10 states that have legalized marijuana since 12. So they're cutting back in Oregon. They don't like the impact. Colorado is reporting all of these issues.
Yeah, but this is all about money, Dan. Yesterday I learned they could.
It's not about money.
300 to 700 million a year.
What are you talking about? 57 million.
57 million?
57 million. Chump change. 57 million.
So that 300 to 700 million was fake news.
I don't know where you got that number, but that's not even the number they're going off of. They've revised it down. 57 million bucks. And they're going to tell you it's about money. Sports betting. It's going to tell you about money. Revenue source. Need more revenue sources. Any conversation about the spend side going on? No. Nope. Not among the populace as well. So why should the political class talk about it? New and exciting ways to dull your senses and take your money.
But I love it because they say a portion of the revenue is going to go to addiction clinics.
Of course.
or gambling,
Yeah.
Gambling addicts. Because that makes absolutely no sense. We want to get you hooked on something, and then we want to help you get off of it.
Government
Yeah, right.
aligned
Smoke
against
and mirrors.
Government aligned against your interests. Oh, and by the way, lest you think the Republicans that stand in the way, Bill Brady, the Senate super minority leader. See the Sun-Times story? We talked about it briefly. Mentioned it sort of in passing with Kristen McQuarrie when she was on Wednesday. Bill Brady.
Former gubernatorial candidate.
Mm-hmm. The only man that could lose to Pat Quinn, and so he did. He has an interest in a video gaming company.
Oh, looky here.
He's listed in the Internal Gaming Board records as a person with significant influence or control of for Midwest Electronics Gaming, one of the state's largest video gambling companies. Operating primarily in Central Illinois, Midwest Electronics Gaming made $16 million from video gambling last year and $80 million between 2012 and 2018. Brady's designation as a person with significant interest or control means he receives a percentage of the proceeds from video slot and poker machines under a revenue sharing agreement with Midwest, the gaming company. And so he's conflicted out of the story. By the way, he voted against the Video Gaming Act.
What?
In May of 2009.
Oh.
And then began working as a sales agent for Midwest Gaming in July of 2016. So cut it out or cut me in. So they cut him in and everything's fine. And this concludes the latest installment of why there is no opposition party in this state. And this concludes the latest installment of why Illinois is the worst governed state in American history, because it is a kleptocracy. And it will be until there is a reckoning within the Republican Party that provides for a rebirth under new leadership. Period. The end. You can listen to the Republican legislators, the handful of you who are represented by a Republican around the state, all you want about their good intentions and about how bad Mike Madigan is and about how they're allegedly standing up for this and standing against that. And none of it, first of all, most of it's not true. And secondly, to the extent that some of it is, it doesn't mean a thing. It doesn't mean a thing. So anyway, that's what's on the docket. Oh, and I forgot.
What?
The Senate will pass the pro-infanticide legislation so that you can have taxpayers finance the killing of children right up until birth, all 9 months, on demand, and bring in out-of-staters who will finance to do the same things with their children. So you have that to look forward to as well. Scott on the west side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, Amy, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, the state of Illinois doesn't have a revenue problem. They have a spending problem. The temporary tax, state tax, raised it from 3% to 5%, and that was only temporary.
Temporary.
Yeah, temporary. Now it's 4.75%. If they do the graduated tax increase, that's only for the upper income people. You can bet your money that it's going to reach down to the middle class eventually, because they're going to continually have to feed the beast, and that's what it's going to do. And so I see also you were talking about the lottery. I see every day at my little convenience store next to where I work, people in there spending money that they don't have, buying all this lottery stuff. And it's a mental illness. It's been created by the state, and it's perpetuated by the state. And if it goes on in such extremes in that little store next to me, that it's going on throughout the whole state.
Thanks for the call, Scott. Good points. I'm glad you brought up the tax rate. So, right, it's 4.95 flat right now.
4.95, okay.
And 100 to 250, it stays at 4.95, slightly less. I mean, infinitesimally less for those under 100 grand. But you know where this goes? Well, look, I'll tell you where it goes. Look to California. Once you graduate it, then you increase every bracket ultimately, because the money is 50 to 250. It's not $1 million up. It's not 500 grand up. That's not where the money is, really. People don't get it because they're susceptible to class envy politics. California tax rates. The statewide tax rate is 7.25%. And then local jurisdictions add district taxes that increase applicable sales taxes on products and so forth. Here are the income tax brackets. That's the statewide tax rate on sales tax rate.
Okay.
Right? Here are the income tax brackets. Just go upper register. So the people that are paying 4.9, 4.95 today, 275 grand plus, 10.3%. 330 grand plus, 11.3%. 551 plus, 12.3%. Million plus, 13.3%. So they go from the low of 2% under 10 grand. And you heard the upper register, 275 plus, it'll be twice what Illinois will be. But then what's the drop off, you say? 53.9 to 275. 9.3%. Starting at 53.9 in California, it's 9.3%. Starting at 42.7, it's 8%. So 42,000 plus, it is nearly double what is proposed for Illinois. And if you don't think that's exactly where the central planners will take the graduated state income tax here after it's instituted in short order, then you really, really are naive or indifferent or ill in some form or fashion. I mean, you are the people that every day in Illinois is Groundhog Day. Adam on the Tri-State, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So if I'm keeping track here, just for score for everybody at home, you have on Monday a bill for class warfare. On Tuesday you have an infanticide bill, which is murder. And yesterday or today you have a bill that allows pot. So you are allowing class warfare, devaluating life, and corrosion of values in this state. I'm either going to stay and fight or I'm out of here. This is embarrassing. This is wrong. And how do you change it, guys? I'm going to hang up and listen. Take care.
Thanks for calling.
Do what Dan's doing and move. I mean, be in the process of moving or...
Well, how do you change it is the question.
Right.
You don't change it by moving. Well, you encourage... There's two ways to do it. You encourage the left to do everything they're doing and more all at the same time. Do it all. Breakneck speed, because you're just going to bring the watershed moment on faster rather than the slow bleed or medium speed bleed. We want the fast bleed. It's one way to do it.
Okay.
I mean, because in a mob economy, which is what this is, you understand the mob bosses are the ones that make out, not those that... This is what it is. Mob bosses get rich, then they come around at the holidays and give you a turkey out of the back of a truck, and you say, oh my gosh, isn't that mob boss so generous?
Or in this day and age, they take a selfie with you.
That mob boss
Wrote
is
you a letter.
That mob boss is looking out for my interests. He gave me a turkey for Thanksgiving. He's feeding my family. That's the mentality here. It is literally the mentality among, I don't know if it's a majority of the electorate, but it's damn close if it isn't. So, yeah, the fight or flight that Adam suggested, I agree. You fight as long as you're here. You try to inform people within your circles of influence the best you can. Try to provide some facts to bump up against their fact-free opinions, their sentimental barbarism, the morality is based on my emotion crowd. And you... say to the Republican Party, you're done as a party until you change out leadership, that there needs to be a reckoning internally within the party. And so we're either going to have no opposition. I mean, I'm not going to participate in a phony baloney opposition party. So we're either going to have a real opposition party or, you guys, a handful of you can pretend to be some sort of opposition party, and you can have your phony baloney little seats down in Springfield where you occasionally rise up against the wheel, but mostly just turn with it. And then we'll just, out there on the hustings, we'll just plot our exit like is happening every single day. 4 dozen Illinois families every single day escaping.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other carriers. If you're over 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage every month whether you want it or not. In Chicago, the least expensive PPO health insurance plan under the ACA will cost $572 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $7,900 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium to $278 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $294 a month and over $5,000 with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Make Mexico pay for the illegal immigrants. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump ready to put tariffs on Mexico for not doing enough to stop the surge. 2 days after the Border Patrol apprehended 1,036 migrants in the El Paso sector, the most in a single day ever. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Mexico facing escalating tariffs starting June 10th. White House Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney says the tariffs are fluid and will change based on Mexico's progress.
We are going to judge success here by the number of people crossing the border, and that number needs to start coming down.
Mulvaney says the levies will increase incrementally over the next several months and could hit 25% by October. Mexico's trade negotiator calling the plan disastrous and grave. The nation's foreign relations secretary could arrive in Washington as soon as today. Dave?
Rachel, there appears to be worry about this on Wall Street. Stock futures are way down before this hour's opening bell, more than 200 for the Dow. We just got an update on the economy showing Americans spent more last month, but the increase in consumer spending, 0.3%, was less than the buying spree in March. The flooding is getting worse in Arkansas. A levee was breached early this morning at Dardanelle.
The raging Arkansas River is now rushing into this entire region. Over the past couple of days, we've been telling you about historic highs up and down this river, and now imagine all of that water has broken through a levee and is rushing into this area. The emergency management here told us they feared this was going to happen yesterday, so they sent out a red alert. They asked 350 homes in this area to evacuate. The sheriff went door to door.
Fox's Matt Finn. There's also been bad flooding in Oklahoma. A cruise ship captain's been detained in Hungary as investigators pore over the ship's communications after a collision Wednesday with a sightseeing boat packed with South Korean tourists. 7 died. 21 still missing on the Danube River. This is Fox News.
62 degrees, 8:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Health officials confirming case of the measles in Kane County. County Health Department says a person with that viral infection had visited several local retailers and restaurants. That person is no longer infectious. However, may have exposed others before realizing they were sick. Embattled Chicago Alderman Ed Burke is in more legal hot water. An indictment filed yesterday accuses the city's longest-serving city council member of using his power to extort private legal work from companies and individuals doing business with the city. In the wake of the Burke indictments, Mayor Lightfoot is calling for Alderman Burke to resign. A Lake Zurich woman is seriously hurt, struck by a car while running from Lake County Sheriff's yesterday in Fremont Township. An amendment proposing a graduated income tax and the rates involved with that tax is now officially headed to the voters. The Illinois House passed the graduated rates yesterday. Voters will weigh in referendum style in the November 2020 election. Jury selection in the Brent Christensen trial is set to begin on Monday. Christensen is charged with the kidnapping and death of a visiting University of Illinois scholar, Yingying Zhang, in June of 2017. He has pleaded not guilty. Her body has never been found. White Sox cruise to a 10-4 win over the Indians at Guaranteed Rate Field. Same two teams tonight, while the Cubs are in St. Louis tonight, opening a 3-game series with the Cardinals. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, global markets are sharply lower with new concerns about the impact of trade tariffs. President Trump has revealed new tariff plans, this time on imports from Mexico. Costco wholesale's business was stronger in the spring quarter. More shoppers were going to its stores and shopping online. Overall sales were up more than 5.5%, and online sales increased 20%. Costco is now offering same-day grocery delivery from Instacart. The company says it still doesn't know how it'll be impacted by new 25% tariffs on imports from China. The company brought in some imports early to avoid tariffs, and it's looking at buying things from other countries. More people were shopping at discount chain Big Lots in the spring quarter. The company's earnings were stronger than expected. Sales increased more than 2%, though Wall Street was expecting an even stronger quarter from Big Lots. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
All the years I spent with junky vitamins, it did nothing, and these vitamins are just like the best in the whole world. I don't take anything else other than them. When I first started, I was just very, always fatigued and tired. Within 2 days, I felt like a new person. I felt like I was in a different body. I listen all the time on the radio when I'm in the car with the commercials of the Balance of Nature, and it's really true. Everything really, really works. So I am sold.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
We've all read some surprising online reviews, whether scoping out a spot for vacation or trying to find the best happy hour. So why should finding software for your business be any different? With over 850,000 software reviews, make an informed decision with Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best business software. From applicant tracking to workflow software, read reviews in over 700 categories from users just like you. Join the 4 million people that use Capterra each month. Find the right software today with Capterra. That's CAPTERRA.com/radio.
Wesley had IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Coming after my house, my car. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
Wesley called Optima Tax Relief.
Oh, they were great people. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-973-7700. 800-973-7700.
Optima Tax Relief.
It is 8:07. In the AM 560 traffic center, here's Jim Talamonte.
On the South Shoreline, train 112, which was due downtown right about now, it stopped at Ogden Dunes after a collision with a vehicle. Inbound Kennedy, traffic is heavy. 190 pretty much all the way in. It's 48 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 29 from Montrose, 27 on the Express. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to the Kennedy. Eisenhower, 49 minutes, 390 to downtown, 35 from Manheim. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. The southbound Tri-State has delays, 22 to Lake Cook, and then a huge jam from St. Charles to Ogden, where traffic is forced off the tollway due to an earlier wreck involving two semis. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's Steve Williams.
Couple of spots of fog this morning, then partly sunny and warm today, high 84. Cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm late tonight, low 63. Shower and a heavy thunderstorm in the area tomorrow could bring some downpours and damaging wind, the high 72. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
63 at O'Hare. Your next news update is 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So it's all politics now after Barr's press conference yesterday. And part of, though, the political calculation is an assessment of the strength of the underlying substance of the case you have to make. And one wonders, with a majority, it seems, of her caucus hell-bent on moving forward with impeachment post-haste, is it they don't feel like they have a strong case? Pelosi and the Democrats I'm talking about. Is it they...
Are they worried about the 2020 election?
Well, of course they are. They're worried about that. So the question is, do they feel like Trump is... It's going to boomerang on them, it's going to increase his popularity? Or that their case is too weak for them to erode his popularity, knowing they're not going to be able to secure a conviction in the Senate, so he's going to be on the ballot in 2020. Interesting perspective on... the 2020 election from Alan Lichtman. He's a poli-sci professor at American U. He's 9 in a row. He's the guy who established 13 criteria for predicting presidential elections, and he's predicted the last 9 presidential elections correctly.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Right. And he suggests
what?
That the only chance Democrats have right now, he's not making a prediction on the election because there's not an opponent yet. So he doesn't make the prediction until it's one-on-one.
Because smarter choice, yes.
But he's suggesting Trump's in a pretty good position right now. In fact, the only thing that Democrats have in terms of a chance to defeat him is to move forward with impeachment.
Unless the Democrats grow a spine and do their constitutional duty and move into an impeachment inquiry, and I think the evidence will show ultimately an impeachment. It's a false dichotomy to say Democrats have a choice between doing what is right and what is constitutional and what is politically right. Impeachment is also politically right. Right now, based on my system, there has to be 6 negative factors against the party holding the White House, the Trump party, to predict their defeat. They're down only 3. But an impeachment would nail down the scandal key, a 4th key. It might trigger other keys like a real challenge to his renomination or a third party enough to defeat him. And let's not forget, impeachment is not just a vote in the House. It involves public hearings as part of the impeachment inquiry, and what everyone forgets, a public trial in the Senate in which House prosecutors present evidence, present documents, make opening and closing statements. You know, Richard Nixon, before all the public revelations, was at 67% approval. It was the public revelations of his misdeeds that drove him down to 25%.
Yeah, that's true, but this is, you know, these comparisons are never perfectly on point. The problem the Democrats have here is there's almost nothing that hasn't been revealed, that hasn't been leaked and obsessed about, and sawdust that hasn't been sawed over and over again, including yesterday at Mueller's press conference. And every time they do so, those that seek the impeachment of Trump, and Bob Mueller clearly indicated he was one of them, they seem to weaken their case, not strengthen it. They don't present new facts. They talk about evidence that never gets presented, and then they just make the arguments. They just make declarations. They don't make arguments. They just take positions. They don't make a case. A bit different than what happened during Watergate, with all due respect to the professor. But let's assess the politics of this with our friend Matthew Continetti. He's the editor of the Washington Free Beacon and a contributor to National Review. And he also recently had a good piece in Primus, the Hillsdale College publication. Matthew, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good to be here.
So what about the politics of this, particularly as it pertains to the question Republicans seem to be kicking around as to whether or not they should push for Mueller to appear before, say, Lindsey Graham's committee in the Senate, and whether Pelosi should wait much longer, can she wait much longer to pursue a formal inquiry in the House?
First on Mueller, I think the Republicans might want Mueller to testify more than the Democrats do, even though if he is compelled to testify or if he just shows up voluntarily after they ask, I think he's given every indication he won't say anything but what he has already said. I was struck when Jerry Nadler had his press conference after Mueller's statement the other day. Nadler basically showed no interest in calling Mueller. And I think that was a sign from the Democrats that Mueller is no longer much use to them. They're either going to have to try to redo the Mueller investigation, which is why they've subpoenaed Don McGahn and Hope Hicks, for example, or they're going to have to find some other set of facts to impeach Trump. And that is why I think many of the committees are going after Trump's financial statements, records, tax returns, and such.
What did you make of Mueller's 9-minute speech, or whatever you want to call that?
Well, I thought it was odd. I thought the main news of it was that he's resigning and that he didn't want to talk to Congress. And I also believe he's just wrong. He could have said whether he had found that Trump committed obstruction of justice. Mm-hmm. The OLC regulations did not prevent Leon Jaworski, the second and final special prosecutor in Watergate, from saying that Richard Nixon had obstructed justice. And they didn't prevent, in the case of the independent counsel, Ken Starr, in the Monica Lewinsky investigation, from saying that his evidence showed that President Clinton had perjured himself and obstructed justice. Instead, Mueller gave this kind of long legal seminar in the second volume of his report, where he says, well, we're not saying he committed a crime, but we're also saying he did not commit a crime. Well, you have to say something, or else it just leaves everybody confused, and moreover, it punts the issue to Congress, which I think is what Mueller wanted. But at the same time, I don't think the evidence in the Mueller report is enough for the Democrats to impeach Trump on obstruction, and that Nancy Pelosi knows it, and that's why she's resisting the calls from some portion of her Congress to begin the impeachment proceeding.
It's also something where the Dem presidential candidates, some of them are weighing in. Some of them are weighing in with some vigor, like Beto O'Rourke, who's trying to get back into the race. But a lot of those that are perceived to be top-tier candidates, I mean, they'll respond if asked, but they're not making it central to what they're talking about, and that seems to be a leading indicator as well.
Right. No, the polls are clear. The public is against impeachment, and not just Republicans, independents, and of course, independents decide the future of American politics. And until those numbers move, I think Pelosi is going to try to continue to hold the door against impeachment. Now, that's why they're pursuing this investigation track, and they're hoping that something might come out of these investigations that will change those numbers. But so far, I don't see it. And this is where I disagree with Professor Lichtman, who I believe the 13 Keys are a great model, and it's a great book that he wrote in the 1980s explaining them. I think the scandal keys basically already turned. I don't think impeachment will make any difference. I think that's baked in. But that's still not enough. And his whole argument there is that, you need impeachment to unlock other keys to defeat Trump. And so far, that isn't happening either. So as of now, all of the models show that Trump is favored to win re-election. Of course, we still have a long way to go.
You wrote a piece that sort of asking the question and then developing the thought process. Is Biden the new Hillary? Has Biden retained Christopher Steele? Is that what you're getting at? Or?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
just that he's been around for so long, right? He's been, 50 years?
Well,
and
he's
what
been
has he
around for
accomplished?
so long. I think there's a lot that's going to come out about some of his son's business activities. It's already started in terms of what Hunter Biden was up to in Ukraine and China.
Yeah.
That's similar to kind of the Clinton Foundation stuff. There's his record. If you look at how Trump is attacking Biden, it's exactly how Trump attacked Hillary in 2016, and that is he's going after Biden's support for NAFTA and free trade, and he's also going after Biden's vote for the 1994 crime bill. Now, look, I believe the crime bill was right, and definitely a reasoned response to what was happening in the inner cities in particular at that time. But these attacks were effective in driving wedges between Hillary Clinton and some important Democratic voters, the African-American community in the case of the crime bill, and then the white working class in the case of NAFTA. And even though Democrats don't win the white working class, they need about 40% nationally to be competitive in a presidential election. Trump drove that number down. It didn't even reach 40%. So he's basically running the same campaign against Biden that he ran against Hillary. And I believe that after 12 months of this, Biden is going to have to be a really strong candidate to break out of the mold that Donald Trump is putting him in.
Well, I also sort of am entertained by the D.C. press corps' promotion of Biden as sort of the presumptive front runner. I mean, really the presumptive nominee, much less front runner. I mean, he's within the margin of error in Iowa with Bernie, and Bernie being from the Northeast. If Bernie were to win Iowa, then those numbers in New Hampshire can flip overnight. I mean, this is not like some runaway for Biden right now.
Not in the states. That's right. I mean, Biden's lead is very large nationally. The states are much closer. And you hit it on the head when you say if Sanders wins Iowa. And, of course, right now we're in the invisible primary. Nothing is actually happening except that you have kind of the polls and you have the candidates running for getting donations and trying to get activist support and endorsements. Once the voting actually starts next year, that's the real primary. And what happens in Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, that will determine who the nominee is. I know that many people are saying, it could last forever, or, really what California is going to play. I don't know. I'm a traditionalist. I'm a conservative. I think the first three states are what matter. And the nominees of both parties always come from one of those three states, especially if you win two of the three, then you're basically the nominee.
What do you make of Biden? He can't stop touching people. I mean, after all this, and then he released his apology via Twitter and other social media outlets. Then on Tuesday, he's grabbing the shoulders of a little girl, telling her, "I bet you're as pretty as you are bright."
Well,
I mean, can somebody stop him? Because it's unbelievable to me that after all this and his smelling of people's hair and inappropriate touch and getting in their personal space, that he hasn't learned his lesson.
He thinks he's being grandfatherly, and he comes across as the clown from It.
It's very hard for a 70-year-old man, a man in his late 70s, to change, and this is what he's running up against. Biden has the strengths, I think, of being considered electable, the most electable candidate within the Democratic Party. That's counting for a lot among Democrats. Obviously, everybody knows him. He has a high likability among Democrats, but he also has real weaknesses. And look, this is his third presidential run. The first two were disasters, and right now he's running a very limited campaign. He has very few public events. He has no media interactions, and it will really be this first debate next month or in just a few weeks, where he's going to be challenged for the first time. We haven't seen how he'll hold up, and he has to go against these impressions of kind of being a creepy old guy on the one hand, or someone who's been in D.C. forever and who's not representative of kind of the current state of the Democratic Party on the other.
Looking past 2020, I know everybody else wants to just look to 2020. Let's look past it for fun. And the prospect that if Trump were to be reelected, that Republicans could take back the House. What's the sort of the inside the Beltway handle on that? The odds makers' opinion on that, because if you don't get the House back, and obviously if you don't hold the Senate as well, then we're going to probably be in this same churn that we're in now with respect to trying to get anything done substantively on, say, immigration policy.
Right. Well, I think it's possible because people forget how narrow the Democratic majority is. It's only 17 seats. So that's possible. And those are Republican districts. I mean, really make the difference. Republican districts that elected a Democrat in 2018. On the other hand, a lot of those districts went for the Democrats out of a version of President Trump. And he, of course, will be still at the top of the ticket in 2020. And in a presidential race, all of the attention and, most importantly, the money goes to either the presidential candidates or the battle for the Senate, where even though I think it's increasingly out of reach, Democrats still want a chance. With the resources at the presidential and the Senate levels, that might mean that not enough time and money is devoted to the House. So I think it's possible for the Republicans to take back the House, but I wouldn't say it's likely at this point.
He is Matthew Continetti, editor of the Washington Free Beacon, contributor to National Review. Check out his piece, Is Biden the New Hillary? Matthew, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined, and Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings in energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in better and safer working conditions. Find out how much your commercial business or public sector facility can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call them directly at 708-609-0784 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twinsupplies.net.
What can be done about schools having a National Coming Out Day? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
We had at Leavenworth High School a gay support day. I'm just calling to find out what our rights are, because none of us parents were notified about this ahead of time. We didn't know this was coming.
Yeah, this was part of a national program, by the way. They called National Coming Out Day, and it was in a lot. We got a lot of calls on this in our offices here. You had a lot of students caught completely off guard by it as well. Not only were the parents not notified, a lot of students did not know it was coming. Now, the issue is, in these kind of things that you're always looking for, is what notification or pre-notification went out for the parents. And the fact of the matter is, in this particular case, there was none. But again, these groups have the right to meet. What they don't have the right to do, though, is to catch you by surprise like this. And that was one of the things that was wrong with that particular case.
Get involved. Find out how at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss, because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you, for free, how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert. Ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
You probably don't realize this, but between you and your employer, you've contributed as much as 12.4% of your earnings to Social Security, and you've been doing this since your very first paycheck as a kid. Add it up over 40 or 50 years, and it could make your 401k contributions look like chump change. But there's one big problem. Claiming your Social Security benefits is complicated, confusing, and riddled with trapdoors. Hi, this is Tom Fortino. According to PBS and Boston University professor Lawrence Kotlikoff, the Social Security Handbook has 2,278 separate rules governing its benefits, and it has thousands upon thousands of explanations of those rules. Talk about a user's nightmare. Learn how you can help get what's yours. The answers are in our new reports on maximizing your Social Security benefit. It includes little-known strategies that could earn you tens of thousands of dollars more, even as much as $100,000 over your lifetime. This could be a game changer. Call right now to receive this information. 630-519-4742. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings or 401k last? How much should you take out and when? You may be ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor John Rossini in Bartlett. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Stop in at Stearns and Route 59 or call 630-372-2926. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC, 630-372-2926.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hi, I'm Misty May Trainer. As a 3-time gold medalist beach volleyball world champion, I had access to the world's best trainers and doctors. But now I'm retired, a busy mom of 3, coach volleyball, and I want my legs to look as good as possible. So when I noticed the veins on my legs, I wanted the same world-class treatment I was used to.
So Misty May joined the over 1 million women and men who went to Vein Clinics of America for over 35 years. The doctors at Vein Clinics of America have been the leading experts in the non-invasive treatment of vein disease. If you're experiencing tired, painful, tender legs, or have lost your confidence due to those embarrassing varicose and spider veins, you can get world-class treatment for your legs in the Chicagoland area.
My experience with Vein Clinics of America was amazing. I got my legs back, and I'm ready to hit the beach again, feeling confident.
Call Vein Clinics of America now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Most treatments are covered by insurance. Call 800-514-5100. 800-514-5100. That's 800-514-5100.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. What, I'm singing the song. I hear the secrets you keep. Ready? Who sings it? When you're talking in your sleep. Oh, the
Romantic.
Romantics.
Romantics.
Oh, I actually met them when I lived in Michigan.
Mm.
They actually wear outfits that they perform in out on the town.
Sure, that's how you
and
can
they travel
identify 'em.
together.
It's like when Dexy's Midnight Runners wear the overalls, so you can and no shirt, so you can identify 'em.
I'm kidding you. Hey, what's coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer there?
We'll talk to CNN political commentator Steve Cortes about our friend Ted Dyke's op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, a pathway for Democrat victory in 2020. Will they take it? No, but we'll look at it with Steve at 8:38.
And later, the hardest to spell words in the English language. Can Dan Proft do it? You want to stay tuned for that. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
63 degrees, a surprise announcement that could derail a major trade deal. President Donald Trump is placing a 5% tariff on Mexican imports effective June 10 to pressure that country to do more to crack down on the surge of Central American migrants trying to illegally cross the U.S. border. Some bad news this morning for UCLA Bruin football fans. 3 lawsuits, potentially worth $15 million or more, have been filed against the Bruin football program. The men behind the lawsuits were linemen on the team and claimed the coaching staff, including head coach Jim Mora Jr., ignored concussion protocol. Attorney General Bill Barr is now saying special counsel Robert Mueller could have reached a decision on whether President Trump obstructed justice.
I think Bob said that he was not going to engage in the analysis. He was not going to make a determination one way or the other. We analyzed the law and the facts, and a group of us spent a lot of time doing that.
In an interview on CBS News, Barr says it's potentially unfair to accuse someone of a crime when there can be no court resolution of the actual charge. Some residents in Arkansas are heading to higher ground at this hour after a levee was breached on the Arkansas River near Dardanelle. A judge is expected to rule later today in the fight over a license renewal of the only Planned Parenthood clinic in Missouri that performs abortions. Embattled Chicago Alderman Ed Burke in more legal hot water after being indicted by a federal grand jury on racketeering, bribery, and attempted extortion charges. About 200 National Guard troops are being deployed as flood levels are rising in much of the state. The governor says Guard members will strengthen levees and build protective barriers, primarily targeted at counties that border the Mississippi River. UIC, Illinois State, and Illinois open NCAA regional baseball tournament action today. Professionally, the White Sox cruise to a 10-4 win over the Indians at Guaranteed Rate Field. Cubs are in St. Louis this weekend. The news service of Krylon Fusion. It's great weather for a project, so why not paint? Krylon Fusion all-in-one spray paint bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection without sanding or priming. Plus, it dries quickly so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon, today we spray. Get it at Lowe's. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
I wish they would have me do a commercial. I'm from the New York area, and we don't trust anybody. I certainly didn't trust you guys at first. After all, you're like out of Utah. I was like, what is in Utah? Really? I listened to ESPN half the day, and I heard some little old man saying, oh, it's not fruits and veggies, and da-da-da-da. And I was so, when you're in pain, you will try anything. And I said, let me try it, but I need to tell you that I'm jogging now. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that again.
Talk to a Balance of Nature health coach today and see if getting the nutrition from over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables can make a difference in your life. Use discount code CHICAGO to receive free shipping on every order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The 16th century Council of Trent pronounced the first catechism of the Roman Catholic Church. In 1992, St. Pope John Paul II promulgated our current version, an historic achievement, but one with its own novelties and some anomalies. Now, the Pope proposes his own changes to the Catechism, changes arguably that cannot be reconciled with Catholic tradition. Can a catechism that can be revised this way still be called a catechism? And if not, then what is it? On June 14th, find out. Join LifeSite News contributor Dr. Peter Korzeniewski at the Catholic Citizens of Illinois Forum Luncheon, speaking on Of What Use is a Changing Catechism? To make your reservation, go to CatholicCitizens.org or call Maureen at 708-352-5834. That's 708-352-5834. Space is limited. Reserve now.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
8:38. Check on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
South Shoreline service has resumed after a collision involving a car and train 112 at Ogden Dunes, southbound Tri-State. Traffic's at a standstill from St. Charles to Ogden, where all traffic is forced off southbound 294 after a semi-crash and hazmat situation. Northbound at Stop and Go Harlem to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Eisenhower much of the way to Balmoral. Eastbound Adams tollway delays are from Meacham to 53. Reagan tollway Winfield to Yackley and 22nd to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial from 127th to the Reagan tollway. Army Trail to 290. Kennedy 43 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Yike 49 minutes from 390. Ryan 35 minutes from 95th. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Partly sunny, very warm, high 84. A thunderstorm in spots overnight, low 63, currently 66. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And a good piece by David Harsanyi over at The Federalist about the left's obsession with climate change hysteria. Jeff Merkley, Democrat Senator from Oregon, one of the co-sponsors of the GND with AOC, sent out a fundraising email warning Democrats that climate change was causing, quote, growing mega fires, extremely destructive hurricanes, and horrific flooding in which American lives are at stake.
Stop scaring people.
Since 1980, death caused by all natural disasters and heat and cold is somewhere under 0.5%. It's true that 2019 has seen a spike in tornadoes, but mostly because 2018 was the first year recorded without a single violent tornado in the United States.
That's impressive.
Tornadoes killed 10 Americans in 2018, the fewest since we started keeping track of these things in 1875. And as Harsanyi writes, only 4 years after the nefarious combustion engine was invented. Oh, the detestable industrial age. After a few devastating hurricanes around a decade ago, we were similarly warned that it was a prelude to endless storms and ecological disaster. That was followed by 9 years without a single major hurricane in the United States. Or in other words, 6 fewer hurricanes than we experienced in 1908 alone. Here's the thing. Modern technology will continue to allow human beings to adapt to organic and anthropogenic changes in the environment. And human beings are not going to surrender the wealth and safety that technology has afforded and continues to afford them. In point of fact, Harsanyi points to a survey conducted by the Yale Program on Climate Change that finds even for the most leftist voters, climate change ranks third on the list of most important issues. Among all voters, it's 17th. And yet you have Democrat socialist candidates for president that are running almost exclusively on that because that's where the noise is. That's where the heat is. But heat and light are not the same thing. And it's interesting because this dovetails with a piece our friend of the show, Ted Van Dyke, writes in the Wall Street Journal. You know, he's an old Democrat warhorse, 40 years in the party. And he tried to convince us last time we had him on that the majority of the party is like Joe Biden. moderate. Well, first of all, Joe Biden's not a moderate. He's a nothing. He just plays to whatever the zeitgeist is. But Ted Van Dyke is a moderate, and he thinks the majority of the party is moderate. So listen to his prescription in the Journal, how Democrats can avoid losing. And it's interesting, frankly, that people like Ted Van Dyke see the Democrats as losing 2020 right now. Don't pursue impeachment. Abandon the Green New Deal. Moderate Medicare for all. Embrace immigration reform. Reject identity politics. Make tax policy fair. Stop promising free stuff. Respect the other side on abortion. So all the Democrats have to do, all they have to do in 2020 is the opposite of every single thing they're doing now in order to win. How likely do you think that is, Ted? Oh, goodness. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Steve Cortes, CNN political commentator, Trump Hispanic Advisory Council president. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. Thanks for having me.
So Ted Van Dyke has a prescription for what Democrats should do, which is, I said, everything you're doing right now, stop and do 180 degrees the opposite.
Right.
And you had a piece in Real Clear Politics saying one of the other things you should stop doing, because this also is not going to work, is trying to tag President Trump as a racist and gather everybody around the solidarity and marginality campfire against the big, bad, racist president.
Right. And by the way, not only should they not do it because it won't work, but they also shouldn't do it because it's just plain wrong.
Well,
it
please.
is wrong. The Democratic Party right now is trying its best, and unfortunately successful to some degree, to gin up racial division in this country because they believe it will pay political dividends. And what I mean by that is they think that if they scare minorities and if they guilt and shame whites into believing that Donald Trump and his movement are an inherently racist movement, that will benefit them electorally. And so we see this by lots of hyperbolic coverage within the media. For example, there was a small gathering over Memorial Day weekend in Dayton, Ohio, of some racist reprobates, okay? It was a few hateful losers. Literally 9 people showed up to a Klan rally in Dayton, Ohio. However, Alyssa Milano tweeted about this. She tweeted, quote, "I don't even recognize my country anymore."
It's the same thing they've been doing.
Yeah, that's.
I lived in Detroit. They had a KKK rally. 9 guys showed up, but you had about 500 people protesting. It's the same thing.
Right, and
nothing
hundreds
new.
of cops who thankfully, kept the peace in Dayton, so nothing happened. But my point is this: look, of course, we live in a fallen world. There's always going to be hateful people. However, but the left is trying to convince us that we live in a world of 100 years ago, that we live in the Jim Crow South, or that we live in the Mississippi burning era. And I'm saying that is not remotely the reality of America today. If you were to gather all of the actual neo-Nazis and Klansmen in America together and round them up, you wouldn't fill up a high school gymnasium. Even more importantly, though, than those virulent haters, just look at our society more generally and our culture. Interracial relationships are totally unremarkable now. The Gallup poll last year, the most admired man and woman in America, both black, both named Obama. The number 2 most admired woman, Oprah Winfrey. This is not an inherently racist country. That's not to say racism is totally eradicated. Of course not anywhere. However, it is not a fundamentally racist society, and it's wrong for the left and for Democrats to try to create a narrative that it is only for their political benefit, because that itself then creates racial division and resentment. And my point in my article, too, that I wrote on Real Clear Politics is, thankfully, it won't work in 2020 because the American people see through this. They see how biased the media is, and they see their own lived reality, by the way, that if President, and I say this often on CNN, if President Trump's a racist, he's the worst racist in history because all he's done is create opportunity and prosperity for minorities. And when we look at the other side, and I often cite this staggering statistic on Chicago, on our city. When we look at the other side, a city that the Democrats have had basically total control of the city of Chicago for almost a century, right now in the city of Chicago, young black men aged 20 to 24, according to the University of Illinois study, 47% of them are neither in school nor employed. So those are the results of the leftist policies that allegedly care for the little guy and care for the downtrodden and minorities. That's the reality on the ground, is that they're all lip service and not policy delivering, whereas on Donald Trump's side, we have actually the exact opposite of policies that are dynamic for small business and that are particularly benefiting all underdogs, no matter what your color is, but that certainly includes racial minorities.
Well, I think it's more than that, too. I think we need to jujitsu this a little bit more. And let's talk about racist policies. I mean, who is the movement supporting, say, segregated graduation ceremonies by race? Segregated faculty meetings, segregated student assemblies, segregated campus life. Who wants to make everything defined by non-behavioral characteristics like race and gender? That's the measurement by which we should advance one person or leave another person back. So, I mean, who is the race obsessed? All of this racist talk is just projecting onto conservatives who the left truly is.
That's a great point, because let's face it, there is an entire industry of race hustling, which is really what you're talking about, and particularly within academia, right? I mean, it's just rampant within academia. People who literally make their livelihoods, and in some cases get quite wealthy. People like Al Sharpton, for instance, in media, but it's more prevalent even in academia, off of race hustling, and that's exactly what you're talking about. Who again, they need to create divisions, and in my mind, that's far more racist than anything that they can try to project onto what the right is doing. And I think that it's corrosive to our society. We're already a polarized country. I mean, regardless, right now, we don't agree fundamentally on a lot of things that we used to fundamentally agree on as a country. It's wrong for the Democratic Party, for crass political purposes, or in some cases for individual economic purposes, for their own prosperity, their own advancement. It's wrong to try to exacerbate and in some cases actually create racial division. And that's what the Democratic Party does. And I'm trying to call them out on. But here's the other thing, Dan, that I think is important. Too many Republicans, too many conservatives, we cower because we're so scared of being called racist that we won't take this issue on. And I'm saying we need to take it head on, both politically and also philosophically, for the sake of the country. And we need to say, not only are we not racist, you're the one who's actually acting in a prejudiced manner by only seeing people. The Democratic Party, let's face it, they are fixated on a person's skin and their private parts. I think that's really the reality. They don't see the soul, the mind. They don't see the whole person. They want us to focus on the externalities only, which is a very base way to approach people, and I would argue a very racist way, a prejudiced way to approach people.
All right, yesterday about 1,000 illegals poured into El Paso, Texas. The president took to Twitter and warned of an imminent 5% tariff on Mexican imports to America. Do you think that he should be separating the tariffs from border security? Are those two separate issues?
I don't actually. And I just posted a new piece this morning on Real Clear Politics about this, to make Mexico a good neighbor again. Look, I think this is the leverage we have on Mexico, and I don't like tariffs. I view tariffs, to me, to policy, to foreign policy, are somewhat what the military action is to diplomacy. It's an unfortunate reality that has to be real. It has to have teeth. And at times you have to use it, but we'd rather not. But in this case, Mexico has refused to act like a good neighbor, and they have been very happy to make their temporary problem our permanent problem. And what I mean by that is these Central American migrants, who are overwhelmingly economic migrants. They are not legitimate asylum seekers. Those countries are tough places for sure in Central America, but they're not places of political repression. Asylum is for people who are fleeing, who fear for their safety because of their beliefs or because of their identifying characteristics. That's just not the case with the vast majority of these folks. Because, by the way, if they believed that, they would just take asylum in Mexico rather than cross that enormous country to get to the United States. Now, I think Mexico is at best, tacitly allowing this. At worst, they're actually actively assisting it because, again, they want their problem to become our problem. To me, the best way, and it is severe and it carries risks, financial markets don't like it certainly, but to me, the best way to get their attention, because they've been unwilling to be a good partner and friend, is to say you can't have access to the American market. You can't have access to the crown jewel of global consumer markets, which is the United States. You can't have access to that and pretend to be a friend or partner unless you act like a friend and ally. And part of that is helping us in border control. So I think it's very smart of him. It's only 5% to start. It's not catastrophic, but it will ratchet higher if they don't start to comply. And to me, this is a smart strategy. It's similar to what he's doing with the Chinese. You want to be a trade partner with us? Anyone who wants to partner with the United States, you have to act like it. There has to be reciprocity. And in the case of Mexico, There is right now a flow of 100,000 plus a month is the clip of people coming here to abuse our asylum system. At that rate, we are soon going to have millions of impoverished, largely unskilled, totally unvetted people in our country. And what is that going to do for poor American citizens, for American citizens who live in tough circumstances and are striving for better lives here? How is that in any way fair to them, most of all? So I'm glad the president's taking a tough stance, and I hope that Mexico will comply.
Well, this is about as dumb an arms race as you can have, this economic arms race, because it's a contest to see who can impose the most damage on their own people. And the appetite that Chinese communists and Mexican Marxists have to impose damage on their own people is much bigger than Trump's appetite or the American people's appetite to endure that kind of damage. So, I completely disagree with these policies. And it's the one thing that has the potential to disrupt his reelection, in my mind.
I think, Dan, what you're not realizing, though, is that the Chinese Communist Party, how badly, and they're two different issues, though related, how badly the Chinese Communist Party needs the American consumer and needs him on a real-time basis.
Can they last? Can the Xi regime last another 14 months? I think it can.
Well, sure, I think it can. But the question is, how much pain internally too is China willing to take? Because the Chinese regime effectively has a bribe with its people, right? It has said you will tolerate repression in exchange for growth, but they have to deliver that growth, and they have to deliver it on a real-time basis. And they are facing a debt crunch right now. That puts them in a very perilous economic situation.
Right.
So I really believe this is an opportune time to press them.
Yeah, well, they can always go back to repression. That's what communists like. All right, we're going to leave it there. Steve Cortes, CNN political commentator. Catch his pieces, realclearpolitics.com. Steve, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
You bet. Have a great weekend.
Thanks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
So, along with everything else you have to do day to day running your business, you're trying to manage your digital marketing and social media. It's a lot of heavy lifting. How can you compete? Well, first, lighten the load. Get in touch with Salem Surround. We take the mysteries of digital marketing off your shoulders and deliver customers so you can run your business. To compete in today's business world, you must utilize every digital marketing tool possible. But who has the time to research, learn, and access all the options? Our team at Salem Surround has the expertise to manage all your digital marketing under one roof. It's easy and there's no heavy lifting. Get started with a free evaluation of your digital presence and some great ideas to increase your online visibility and revenue. There really are no limitations on how and where you can reach customers with Salem Surround. Total market penetration for increased ROI. Learn more at surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com. Connecting you with new customers.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands.